Whoa. What's up, everyone? Just making sure everything's squared away here. Justin, yes, I do see your song request. It's probably what's it called? Not ad free, but non-copyrighted music or whatever the hell it's called. But I really don't care. I don't know. Hell of a time to have. Keeping the door open because I do have my kind of dog sitting, my roommate's dog. I did it last night too, but I was dog sitting and just keeping it open in case I hear her bark or she wants to come in and hang out. So there's that as well. Is the music too loud or do I need to turn it down? Because it's weird because sometimes on the stream it sounds like super quiet on my end, but for you guys it'll be like very overbearing. It's funny because on YouTube I have it maybe that far. That's not that high. Light him if you got him. Yes, sir. What's up, Daniel Marquez? How you guys doing? Just hanging out for a bit. I got one for you after this song. Comment, no sound is fine. Okay, sound is fine, okay. I thought you said like no sound is fine, like mute the music. Okay. I thought you were saying like mute the music or something like that. I'm like, what? But I know what you mean. What comics and collectibles will you be looking at for Comic-Con? I need to review that. It's hard to tell because honestly everything I was kind of keeping my eye on already pumped. I was gonna ask some of the other comic guys if it's worth getting like a soft stack of the first appearance of the Illuminati, because it sounds like the Illuminati are going to be playing a part in the MCU. Like in the future like MCU movies, but I know it's not worth a ton in real life. Okay, so it's New Avengers number 7. What is the CGC price for that? I'm assuming it's probably gone up ever since they announced like the Illuminati was going to be in the MCU. Yeah, it's not worth that much in real life. Pump that have the most potential. Yeah, that's tough. That's definitely not the one that has like the most potential. Honestly, I'm kind of bad at like, not necessarily bad, but it's like I'm not huge into like spec purchases and stuff like that. It's hard to tell. No. Your sound is fine. Yes, perfect sound. I get what you mean. Honestly, like I hate to do it. Not that I hate to do it. I really like using it, but I really wish I could just use one website for all my stuff, but I have to switch between like Ecomi Wiki, then my NFT tracker, and then also the Veve store to like get all the information I need for certain things. Like if you're trying to find like honestly all the comics very easily, I really think my NFT tracker, like if you just want to look at them or just kind of like browse through them very quickly, like nothing is easier than my NFT tracker, to be honest. Same thing with looking up price ranges. If you're trying to find something between 80 to 100 gems that's an ultra rare, nothing is easier than my NFT tracker for that. Is ultra rare Mickey Bandleader a good pickup? Only 100? I'm not very bullish on Mickey Bandleader. I don't know. I'd much rather grab there's quite a few other things I'd rather pick up for 100. Like, I mean, we can even look right now. Let's go here, and I gotta reopen this. Full screen this. Does that look all right for you guys? So why is this open? Okay, cool. Also, I think I need to swap sides on this. This needs to be probably up here. That was a good song. I liked it. I have a song that I think you guys might like. It's a song I started listening to actually a while ago, but I like it. Some of you guys might have heard it already. It's been a while since I popped in. Yeah, Felonini, where you been? It's been a minute. I think I'm also gonna close this, dude. Dude, also, like, let me quit this. Okay, I should be good now. Yeah. Should I start that song over? Holy hell, what is going on with my everything here? I'm just looking at all collectibles, all things between 90 to 100 gems. Even Marvel Comics #1, I think even Marvel Comics #1 has like 1,000 or so secret rares. Like, so even if Amazing Fantasy had that, it would be, I don't even know how much that would go for, to be quite honest. Vibe? Oh, what song was that? What's up with your Happy Girl Jam background music? I'm just playing whatever. What else? Let's go back to my... Someone had a song request, and that's just a song I thought of off the top of my head, so I wanted to play it. Hell. Cool. What the hell were we talking about? Oh yeah, more Amazing Fantasy stuff. Yeah, if we dropped Amazing Fantasy, I think the numbers would reflect very, very closely. Maybe it won't push as high as Marvel Comics #1, though it really should. The only reason why it wouldn't is because we have a lot of people, probably with not a ton of gems, on the market right now. Like, Danger 113, but it's probably copyright. I mean, I can always just like mute it later technically on YouTube. Like on my live stream, it's gonna give me, hey, your live stream was copyright struck. I'm like, okay, whatever. And they're like, you can either mute it or do whatever. And usually I just mute it. We'll try out this song too. I don't know, I'm in a mood to take song requests today for some reason. Is that a song? Danger 113? We'll try it. I'm just like flipping through 15 chads. Chilling from Orlando, that AF15 SR will be huge. Yeah, I think there will literally be nothing more expensive on the app than in a 1962 mint number, 1962 Amazing Fantasy 15 secret rare. That would legit be, I think, that'll probably be easily the first collectible that goes, like if someone wanted to sell the day they get it, someone would instantly pay 100 grand for it, I think, instantly. Obviously, I think you can get more than that later, but what comic are you bullish on that will see a pump soon? I think a lot of them, all of them. I mean, I could literally just go down the gambit if you want. I mean, you can't go wrong with any like the tried and true comics, right? And that's one thing I'm kind of learning about myself is like, I'm not a big speculative comic buyer. I like to stick to what I know is going to do well, or I just buy certain comics that might aesthetically look nice. But to be honest, like I'm not very bullish on like Miss Marvel or America Chavez, or the only one that like the only somewhat speculative buy I'm kind of bullish on is like Miles Morales. But a lot of the other characters like New Avengers and stuff, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not sure how many new renditions of modern superheroes we already have are going to be like do well, if that makes sense. Just not sure. I mean, all of these are really, really down right now. Like the Marvel Comics being at 160 right now is super low. The fact you can get a Fantastic Four #1 for 55 gems is crazy. Same thing with Fantastic. Like literally all the ones here on this like front page are like pretty low for their cost, right? I think all of these can run up. So I'm not sure which ones will see a pump soon, because I do think San Diego Comic-Con, I think some people are thinking it's going to cause a pump in the market. Oh, we're going to get a bunch of new users, but it's like, unless all those people that are at San Diego Comic-Con find Veve, you know, at the Marvel booth, they understand NFTs, they understand the value, they don't think it's a scam, their mind isn't tainted by all the stuff they've seen on the news. They like what they see. They have disposable income equal to hundreds, if not thousands of dollars that they want to throw in the app immediately. You know, it's a lot of steps that they have to take in order to like invest on the app. So I think it's going to be somewhat of a repeat of basically the Star Wars celebration event that we had just a few weeks ago, which was like, all right, it's like cool, and we might got some new users, but like I highly, maybe there's a dozen new users that got on and maybe spent like $1,000 or maybe a few $100, but like I doubt people are getting on the app and instantly throwing $500 to $1,000 into the app, like instantly, right? I think those people will become big purchasers in the future, but just like me and everyone else, I think most people on the app, like they needed to like understand the app, watch a lot of content creators, understand how the drops work, hear a lot of bullish informations and different perspectives and angles about ECOMI and OMI and Veve and NFTs and the Veveverse and you know, mint numbers and rarities, and like they need to hear all this stuff constantly over and over and over. And we've all been there where we first start Veve and you're literally watching 4 to 12 hours of Veve videos like a day, right? Like you're just obsessed. You're just trying to absorb as much information as you can until you hear that one person that says something and you're just like, holy shit, okay, like that makes sense. Or like, wow, this is going to be a big deal, right? So like it takes a while for those users, in my opinion, to get onboarded. You do have some people that are probably into comics or that might be at San Diego Comic-Con that are already investing in NFTs or might have heard of Veve before, or they're, like I said, they're already investing in NFTs, so they understand the concept and the idea and the possible, things about like, blockchain technology and utility and the importance of being like early in a project. They might understand all these things already, so like their path to investing more is much shorter than someone that's like brand new to everything. Your opinion, I won the airdrop Buzz Lightyear. Should I sell or hold the long term? I was thinking of selling it and buy some Grail comics. I think so too. Honestly, I floored mine immediately. I won one too, and I sold it for $295 or like $290, $300, something like that. I sold it immediately. I think I I put in the confirmation code or the promo code, accepted it. I opened it up, took a couple screenshots just to say, I had proof that I owned it and that I won, and it's kind of cool. Then I sold it, I think, legitimately within 10 minutes and got rid of it and just bought other stuff with it. I think I still have a ton of gems because of it. So, I mean, that's the main reason why I have a lot of gems on my main account. Now, if it was like a classic poster of Buzz Lightyear, like the classic Buzz Lightyear, and it had like the original Toy Story like logo, or if it had like Woody and Buzz, and maybe if it wasn't like a movie, because it's not a poster, it's like a movie prop standee, like whatever the hell you want to call it. It's just that, which is fine, but there's probably people out there that probably are very bullish or that heavily collect just promotional NFTs, which could definitely be a thing. Me, it's not my thing. I'd rather buy this stuff that's on this screen, like literally right here. Me personally. No one wants Lightyear, but 5 years from now, all the Veve stuff will be 40x. Yes, sir. We will have fun with San Diego Comic-Con. I think so too. $6.99 gets you involved with Veve. Comic-Con is a big deal, not instantly. And I think that's it. I think some people were expecting like a huge pump in the market. I think the best thing that Veve can do is obviously give out a promotional code to people that are at San Diego Comic-Con. That's, of course, of a comic of whatever. And, when they find out they can apply it and sell it, depending on how good the comic is or how low the mints are or whatever, it's not bad. Like you can literally apply it and like instantly get like 150 gems or 100 gems or whatever the comic is, right? Something similar to Amazing Spider-Man 130 with the buggy. But I'm assuming there's probably going to be more than 8,000 promo codes. There could be more, there could be less. But that's another way to kind of just get people involved like right away. It's just like, hey, if you're not sure about Veve, here's a promotional code, apply it. You can keep it, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want. And, we have drops of these comics throughout the week or the weekend or whatever. So I think that's another way to kind of get people involved as well. You'll see Comic-Con and Star Wars Con might be night and day. Yeah, I think so. For starters, Comic-Con is getting US some great drops. Hell yeah. Of course, Star Wars got us great drops. Yeah, Star Wars got us some great drops too. I mean, of course, Vader. I mean, Vader's fucking huge. I've said this before, but Vader's easily a top 5 NFT collectible. Not including comics, but collectibles on the app. Because what do? You put like, some people argue Walter Spider-Man SRs 1 or 2. Then you do what? Like number 3, like Todd. Then maybe. And I'm not going just strictly off price, right? If it's, I'm going mostly based off of like potential popularity, rarity, a handful of things. And I do think ultra rare Vader is like top 5. It's right up there with those 3, and potentially, it's at that point it's like, all right, do you put Rizzo up there? Do you put I don't know, fucking Bubbles or whatever, like those other ones? I don't really put Bubbles or Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting Donnie. I was like the brony thing, Donnie. If you put Donnie that high, I mean, people just I don't know. I think those things get carried a little bit too hard just strictly off their rarity. Morning vibes, really morning. It's 9 p.m. for me, but morning Bob sales. Creedson, I hope Veve is very aggressive in promoting thousands of free NFTs, promo codes, give out Marvel comic SR #1. I don't know about that. That would absolutely choke slam the price. Giving out Marvel Comics #1 SRs to just random people. Veve needs to talk with the town. I don't know about just giving them out. I do agree with giving out promo codes to, like, it might not even be a big comic, but it's just like a promo con. I mean, look at the price of the freaking not Doom Buggy, but the Spider Buggy one. Like, that price is really high, and that's kind of just like a no-namer comic, to be quite honest. So it's like, as long as it's not Amazing Fantasy 15 or, dude, I keep forgetting the first appearance of Thor. Journey to Mystery 83. I keep thinking 87, but it's 83. As long as it's not Gym 83 or like Amazing Fantasy, that's like the promo thing that you could only get if you're at San Diego Comic-Con, I'm okay with it. But the line Mitch Murder, yeah, we'll check that one out in a minute. What makes people think Fantasy will drop? Do you plan on cashing out any money with Veve? No, I don't plan on cashing any out, and plus I don't have enough gems like on hand to do that anyway. I think a lot of people think Amazing Fantasy will come out because someone asked in the last AMA, like, to David Yu, I don't know if you were listening to that, he was like, hey, it's like, so is Amazing Fantasy come out? And just funnily enough, David Yu was just kind of tripping over his words for like a legit like 10 seconds, like, you know, not like, I think he was just trying to think of like 15 different ways to like not spoil it or to whatever, but like shortly after that he basically said like, yeah, it's one we're gonna do, we're just finding the right time. He basically said we're trying to find the right time, so it's confirmed that we're gonna get it, it's just when. And I do think San Diego Comic-Con's the way to do it, because this is, I think, the first one they've had in like 3 years, I believe. First one they've had in 3 years. It's biggest comic book convention, I think, in the world for the most part. So it's like, I can't think of a better time. They're also going to be at the Marvel booth at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, Veve's going to be right there. So I literally just can't think of a better setup than that, in my personal opinion. Even if we don't get AF15 and like, let's say we do get Journey into Mystery 83, first appearance of Thor, like, that's a huge comic too. I think last I checked, like, I mean, we can even pull it up right here. Go collect. Like, this comic is, like, even if we dropped this one, I think Journey into Mystery would become pretty much instantly like a top 3 comic. Like a 9.2 is worth $250,000. Journey into Mystery 83, first appearance of Thor. Like, that's, and this was when was this sale? I don't know. Sometimes you have to like log in to see when the sales happen and stuff. It's really, really weird. But I guess this was back in 2019, so like not too long ago. I guess we'll go forward. So this is a huge comic too. Like, I think this would easily be like a top 3 or 4 comic if we got that on Veve. So even if we don't get Amazing Fantasy 15, like, Gym 83 is a huge one too. I think new users will go with Grail Comics. Commons at first. Problem with that for holders of these commons is the stackers taking profit may not pump as much. SRs are a different story in my opinion. Yeah, cool, Mo. I agree. I do think, and me personally, that's why I like the ultra rares a lot. I think you get the perfect balance. And I'm not saying SRs are bad by any means. I actually love SRs too. I think just aesthetically, also, I like ultra rares because, in my opinion, the perfect balance of rarity. 1,000 is still not a lot in the grand scheme of things, like 1,050 compared to 600 or 500 that most ultra rare or secret rares have. So has the Veve exclusive art that's not available anywhere else. You can kind of say the same thing about the secret rare covers, right? It's a panel pull, and so it's unique in that sense. And on top of that, like, they're pretty affordable. Like, I think a lot of people that want secret rare comics but just can't afford it, I think they just either go with the rare or the ultra rare. And the ultra rares, I do like the ultra rares. as well. I think there was a point where I had like 7 or 8, and I think I sold a handful of them off to just kind of make some gems. And honestly, most of the ultra rare covers I wasn't a huge fan of anyway, but I think I still have... is there a way I can look at this, but like just look at the ultra rares? No. Actually, I think these... I'm looking at the store. What the hell am I doing? Yo, Rob Sales and Jerry in the chat. What's up, guys? Did I miss Jerry? Oh, Jerry Clow. Yes. Yes, sir. What's up, Booth? You need to sub to Rob Sales. Yeah, I watched one of Rob Sales videos the other day. I think it was a YouTube short. I think you were just talking about how you got rug pulled in one of your recent... I don't know if it was a live stream or something like that, but... I saw that. But yeah, dude, keep up the hustle. Honestly, I'm more than happy to promote any new content creators because by far and away, this is the most difficult time as a content creator. Like, grow your channel. Like, things are relatively at an all-time low or you know, towards that bottom quartile. Not a lot of people are on Veve right now. Like, I was pretty fortunate to, you know, speak of content creators that started around the same time as I did, Rob stuff. Honestly, we got lucky. We joined in like at the perfect time around golden moments. And when Veve was really taking off, I started making content around it. And I got like 1,000 subs like my first month of making videos. And that's just because we had a whole bunch of people there. A lot of people were visiting family for the holidays. And so they had not a lot of stuff to do. So people were watching content creators and stuff. But yeah, like now, right now it's tough. But like the next bull run, you can bet there's going to be thousands of people that are going to be looking for, you know, entertainment, ideas, investment advice, or just to shoot the shit, right? Like sometimes people don't always want to just hop on these streams just to constantly be educated or constantly speculate. Sometimes it's just for fun. Do a blind drop on site at Comic-Con. That's how I got hooked. Do a blind drop on site at Comic-Con. Do a blind drop? What do you mean? A blind? So like a blind box drop? Like a community-led one or something? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Crudson. Yeah, but I think a lot of the comic book collectors, at least one guy, I went to the comic book store, I know I said this a few weeks ago, he really liked the blind box aspect, that like you didn't have to pay money. It's not like, oh, you pay $7 for a common, then 10 for an uncommon, then 15 for a... It's not escalating prices. It's just you play a flat amount, and you could get really lucky and get that secret rare, or you could get really lucky and get a low digit common. Like that's definitely a thing. So he really liked that aspect. So I do think the blind box aspect and the low barrier of entry of comics, I do think will appeal to a lot of people. But like, I don't think we're gonna see like heavy investors getting into Veve right away. Bobby Green, thank you so much for the SGD 10 super chat. I appreciate it, dude. Keep the knowledge coming. Of course, dude. I mean, I'm just speaking my mind, to be quite honest. Like, I don't know everything. I'm just saying what I'm doing and what I believe in. And if you guys are about that, awesome. If you disagree, I would love to hear, you know, the reasons why, or, you know, have a civil discussion about it. But David said we'll be getting AF15 and we will have 5 drops a day. He said we'll be getting 5 drops a day or 5 drops throughout San Diego Comic-Con. During San Diego Comic-Con, but did not specify AF15 being one of them. Because San Diego Comic-Con's how long? 3 days? It's technically 4, so July 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So I mean, we're gonna get 20 comic drops and throughout the time. That's absurd. I think that's almost like too much. Because how many comics do we have now in the app? Like 110, 115? So we're dropping what, 25% of the comics we already have, like in addition to what we have already within 4 days. That sounds like a bit much, but if that's what's happening, I mean, expect the not so gentle you know, dip in the market. Stoked. I have 2 top 5 grills. Hell yeah, dude. Justin, that's awesome. I'm really happy with the secret rares that I've landed. Unless it's I've only sold one secret rare. I've only won 3. I'd say only. There's people that have been on Veve since August of last year and still have not won a secret rare of anything. So I feel for those people, but I've actually won 3 secret rare comics, and I've sold 1 of them but kept 2. But hell yeah, Justin. Is Vader uncommon and common still a good pickup in your mind? It's still FA Vader and has a lot of value with it. I think so. I don't know why. Like me personally, obviously if you can shoot for the highest, most expensive thing, that's great. I do think in some ways it might be better gem for gem to like stack common Vaders or uncommon Vaders. I mean, you can see the uncommon Vaders here. Personally, I like the commons more. Again, this is just my main account. I have 2 other phones here that have, I think, almost $3,000 worth of NFTs just on there from drops I played and won and gems and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think let's go ahead and pull it up. I think it's weird, but I need to type in like dark instead of Darth. So that's the uncommon. That's the store. See, I don't know why it really struggles to find like certain like NFTs on here. Like even when I type in things like Vader or whatever, like it just really struggles to find like what I'm looking for. So I type in Vader. Okay, it does have it here. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I do like the common more. I just like this stance. It just looks way more menacing, and I think it's a bit more of like the classic look of Vader, I would say. Again, that's just me personally. So view the details, and I want to click this, right? So view the details of the drop. Okay, I got it. Sometimes I kind of get stuck in this infinite cycle of like, all right, what, like I just want to get to, like I'm looking at the common. How do I look at the market of it? Because it just keeps on taking me back to the blind box and then to these and then back to the blind box. It just like puts me in a like endless cycle here. Unless there's like a button or something I'm literally missing. This is view in 3D, which I don't care to do. Like, how do I just look at the market from here? I guess I have to like retype this in and then go to market. Guess I go to here instead. I do think what the menu I was in earlier, I guess through the store, I guess, there should be a menu or at least like a pathway to like get you back onto the market. I don't know why. In your last video, I'm glad you showed the Avengers Rare cover. That's my favorite. Avengers Rare. Avengers Rare. Which Avengers again? Last video, I'm glad you showed the Avengers Rare cover. That's one of my favorite. Yes, it's morning here. It's 5 a.m. I'm doing night shift. Okay, luckily I do as I would have missed most stream. Nice. What's good, Vibes? Yeah, exactly. He said he's been waiting for the right time, and AF15 60th anniversary is August. Yeah, there is that too. That's actually a really good point. So either it's coming later this month or early next month. That's definitely a possibility too. Let's see here. The Avengers Rare. Which one did I show again? Avengers Rare. All right, let me catch up here. Rob may be onto something here. Yes, definitely. When would you like to see Pokemon NFTs released, assuming Veve has the license? Next year. Sometime next year. Like middle of next year or something like that. Like Pokemon Day next year. I don't know, something like that. I don't think Vivi's in a huge rush to release Pokemon, to be quite honest. Yeah, I can see that dropping this week. Yes, sir. What do you think about the comic drop on Tuesday? I haven't really looked into it. I do know another content creator, or My Collectibles, did mention that the #2 series or like edition, whatever the hell, of that same comic is way better than this one. So not too sure. Honestly, I haven't done much research on that particular comic yet. But from what it sounds like, it's nothing too special. But we'll see. I need to hear from the experts first. Like the other experts. As much as I like my collectibles, I don't want to just take his word for it. I like to hear from the other people too. Like to try. Like in my last video, I showed that I completely missed out on Spider-Man #1. Like that's something I completely overlooked. Had no idea. So now every time a comic comes out, I'm gonna be asking the guys like, "Hey, is this a good comic? And like, is this a good thing to stack, or should I buy a couple of these? Like, what do you think?" So, Doctor Strange Multiverse movie released on May 6th. 2 days later, Veve dropped Strange Tales FA. Yeah, we could get that with Journey into Mystery 83 with Thor. When the movie comes out, we could get that, or they could save it for San Diego Comic-Con. I'm okay with either. Most ultra rares and rares have the lowest ROI relative to the other comic variants. Oh, for sure. Well, especially right now, right? Everything is very, very low, but I do think as Veve evolves, or as we get more users, I think not only are the grails of the app, that disparity between the upper end grails and kind of like the average or like the very like low tier quote unquote NFTs, that gap is going to get bigger over the years. Like there's going to come to a point where like, okay, like ultra rare Vader is, you know, what's he at right now? Like 2,500, whatever, 2,000. And there's a lot of other collectibles, or, you know, even right now people are like, well, should I sell these 3 collectibles to get Vader? But if you wait like 2 or 3 years, like those same collectibles that you're talking about selling, like you would have to sell those like 2 or 3 times over to even afford a single Vader. Like it's just exponentially, that gap is just going to get bigger. And I think the same thing is going to happen with the comics as well. Like right now, I think with the gem squeeze and like people aren't selling common comics for like, I mean, super cheap too, don't get me wrong. I mean, people are just dumping them on the market, certain ones. So right now, like gem for gem, it is probably better to get common or uncommons, like whatever. But the other thing you have to realize too is like a lot of other people are stacking. It's going to take you a while to liquidate it. It depends on how long you want to wait to sell it to, right? So there's all of those things you have to worry about. And I mean, you could say the same thing about secret rare comics in a way, right? If EV plays their cards right, I can see YouTube views going up a lot after Comic-Con. I think so too. Again, Bobby Green, thank you so much for the dono. I made a video, edited it, and then YouTube published the outtake instead of all the hard work I'd done. Didn't realize till 50 people watched it, I could potentially lost them 50 people watching. It's, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like losing 50 people doesn't matter. It sucks, don't get me wrong, but I think there's enough people in the Veve community, and there's enough of us that we share content. It's just tough right now because honestly, I see the same viewers over and over. You know, I see Bob Sales, I see Justin, I see Dana Marquez, like since day one, like all these people, the same viewers most of the time, over and over and over. And those are the dedicated people, right? And then eventually when Veve starts pumping again, we're gonna have a lot of the old viewers that were gone come back. 5 drops a day. So it is 5 drops a day. Holy moly. Marvel is diluting everything. I don't think so. It seems that way now, but I do think there's going to be a period of time where we're going to have more people join. I don't know what that catalyst is going to be, but there will be a point on Veve where we're going to have more people join within like a 6-month span than we did like the 2.5 years prior. Like we're pretty much going to like double our numbers in like a 6-month span. Something crazy like that is going to happen. I'm not sure what the catalyst is going to be, but something like that is going to happen. Then all of a sudden, all the stuff that seems diluted is not as diluted. And at this point, I do think Disney and Marvel and those businesses, they want to make sure they actually have stuff on the shelves, you know, NFTs in the market, things that are in, you know, quote unquote excess or whatever, out and available for people that when they do get on the app, they actually have other stuff to buy. Because if like Marvel and Disney was like really pacing themselves, people are like, oh, I heard Veve has Disney, and they jump on, they're like, wait, all there is Golden Moments and lenticular cards? Like, wait, that's it? Like that's all they have? So I'm completely fine with Marvel just pumping out stuff. And there's more than enough comics. I thought I heard somewhere that like Marvel has enough comics to basically keep Veve busy for the next like 5 to 10 years or something crazy like that. Like they have enough comics to basically have like continual drops like we've been having now for like 5 years, something like that. I agree. Comic-Con will be better. The Star Wars didn't mention Veve, where as Marvel, I think there'll be a load of money. Yeah, like one big benefit is that Star Wars, like the Star Wars convention was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I think we were just like advertising like what a few screens, and I think people couldn't really connect the two. And there might have been a handful of people there, kind of like telling people about Veve and this and that. But it's like I don't think it's as formal or as attention getting as like being in the Marvel booth and like probably having multiple screens or a little corner that Vive's going to be set up, and people at the Marvel booth are probably going to be directing people to like, hey, like we're also partnered with this other company, like you guys can buy digital comics now that are running in limited quantity. They have exclusive covers. They've already had people that have had confirmed sales of, you know, anywhere between 2 gems all the way up to $20,000 on some of these comic covers. You know, go check it out. Hey, go to that booth, whatever it is. And so I do think that's going to be more significant. We'll definitely get more users from the San Diego Comic-Con than the Star Wars. I think just because sheer number wise and like just actually having people there, like putting a face and like a place to Veve, which I don't think Veve had like a booth or anything at the Star Wars place, as far as I know. Vader will 2x what Steamboat Willie did plus. Yeah, I could see that. I still think Steamboat Willie is the best non-tagged NFT on the app. Well, at least the ultra rare, obviously, right? It's the best non-tag. Doesn't have the FA or the FE tag or whatever, but I have that problem with collectibles. It's so annoying. Yeah. Been in Veve since March 2021. I participated in 90% of all of the drops, and I've never gotten an SR of anything. Dude, that's rough. I think it's probably, and there's a very small handful of other people that are in that same scenario where they just never want an SR, which is unfortunate. I will admit it is beneficial to have more than one phone. So Bobby Green, I don't know if you've been using multiple phones or just the one, but I ran 2 phones for a while, and it wasn't until I'd say like the last month or 2, I was running 3 phones. But yeah, that's rough. I think I've gotten total, I think 4 SRs total. So I got 3 comics and 1. My very first SR was like a shark bite. So the Murmacorno shark bite, and I just floored it. I didn't care to keep it long term. I think I ended up selling it for like 150 something. Okay, guys, have a good night. Glad I was able to listen for a bit at least. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Daniel. Avengers 47, the one with the night looking cover. Yeah, that one is good. I do like the, in case you guys are wondering which one that is. Do I still have it up? There it is. I think I just type in 87 and I should be good. Ultra rare. Ultra rare, right? No. 47. What the hell am I doing? 47. This one. I do like this cover a lot. I mean, it's just very aesthetically. Also, I mean, first appearance of Black Knight isn't bad either as like a comic, but I do like this one. I do like the green, red, and white colors on this quite a bit. It's one of the better looking ones. Because that's essentially what I did. Like in my last video, I was just going through comics that I just aesthetically liked the most. Honestly, old secret rares were kind of hard to do because a lot of them looked, to be honest, quite boring. And there's also, other than 252, I mean, first off, 252 is the first time we see, not only in the comic, but also on Veve, the first time that we get to see Spider-Man in his black suit. I also think it's the best looking one of Spider-Man in his black suit. Then we scroll down here, and all of a sudden there's so many variations of Spider-Man in his black suit. So that's there. I think I counted like 9 or 10 secret rares with black suit Spider-Man, which is quite a bit. And then a lot of the other covers, I'm like trying to decide like which secret rare covers do I like. All right, the Ghost Rider one looks pretty cool. But I think I ended up just going with the Avengers 4. I almost went with, I don't know why, but I do kind of like this one as well. This Daredevil one, but I think I ended up going with Amazing Spider-Man 798, as well as, I think these 2 at the front. Yeah, Iron Man 55, as well as Avengers 4. I do like this one a lot. This is my favorite secret rare cover. I just like the look of just Captain America, you know, America giving like a debrief or like a mission briefing to the Avengers, and it's kind of like the classic Avengers. You know, it's the first time that we have the Avengers as we know it together. And of course we have that weird faced Hulk in the top left, just, you know, there as a cameo. Catch up. What's referring to just comics in terms of ultra rare and rare ROI variants? Collectibles are another ballpark. Yeah, for sure. Less Vaders for sale than Todds. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Even though there's technically more Todds, so it's makes sense, but not by much. It's not like there's 4,000 more Todds than Vaders or anything like that. Was thinking about selling my 3 Beta Rays, 2 Odins, and SR Ghost Rider for R2-D2. What are your thoughts? Ooh. That's a lot. R2-D2 is a fantastic golden moment. It's the second best one. What is R2 at right now? Please show me if it just... Okay, there we go. All right, it's at 1350. I don't know, man. It's really hard for me to like sell off secret rare comics, especially one as good as Ghost Rider. But I do think that's tough, man. I know everyone's gonna say something different. If you really like collectibles more and you're really bullish on the golden moments, then sure. But I really like the secret rare comics, especially since there's only 600 mints of them. I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not against it. Personally, I don't think I would do it, but I'm not against it. I don't know what else to... I wish I could be of more help. But I've definitely become a lover of comics more significantly over the last like 2 to 3 months. So if you would have asked me 3 months ago, I would have said yes instantly. Like, yeah, get rid of that secret rare. Who cares? Just dump it and then take this R2-D2. But now it's like, okay, I can see an argument for both. Still can't believe I landed a UR Vader on drop. Never thought I would own a top 5 Grail on PV. Yeah, dude, same here. I think I only won 2 on drop on 2 phones. I tried on 3, but like there was an error or something weird happened on my 3rd phone. So I was like, oh shit. So I'm like, please, please. And so sure enough, I won it on my other phone. I'm like, oh, thank God. But yeah, Subby Zero, congrats, dude. That's a huge one. Subby Zero, you need another account, or you need to have a friend make an account called Scorpio. I don't know, Scorpio Zero. I don't know. I like Subby Zero. That one's cool. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. Hopefully all of us here will be winners in the end when it comes to Veve. Oh yeah, we'll definitely be winners. And then, you know, a year from now, we're all gonna look back and be like, oh my God, I should have spent more money on Veve, or I should have bought this or sold this or whatever. But it is what it is. Yep, exactly that. Yes, sir. May 21st, May 2021, never hit a SR. That's rough. Yep, exactly that. Rare. What did I show for the rares? I'm honestly trying to remember what I even showed for the rares. I think I had 3 for the rares. I really like that Spider-Man. This is... Oh, come on. So let me full screen this. This is by far and away... This is my second favorite rare cover. I know I've showed this before, but Kraven just looks crazy AF here, and the reflection on the blade, and I really like this one. I mean, you could pick this up for like 7 gems right now. All right, it's pushed to 8 gems, but yeah, I literally bought it 2 days ago for 7 gems. I'm like, this is just too cool to like not get. So I just got one of them just because aesthetically I just like it a lot. What were the other rare covers that I liked? So I put that as number 2. No, none of these. I do like Strange Academy number 1, the rare as well. I think I just like the... It's kind of hard to make some of the rare variants look good, to be honest. I like the ones that do have more of color, I guess. So Strange Academy 1, I do like that one quite a bit. Avengers. This one, I like the ultra rare more just because I like the full color. You kind of see where the light sources are coming from, but like this one looks good too. Uncanny X-Men 308. I'm just a big X-Men fan. I just love looking at the... I've always loved just the villains of X-Men in general. So from left to right, it goes Mr. Sinister, Magneto, Juggernaut, Dark Phoenix, Sabretooth, Mystique, Emma Frost, and apparently this guy's name is like Arcade or something like that. Never heard of the guy until I looked it up the other day. Like the redhead with like the Joker like looking, or Riddler looking outfit. But Ultimate Fallout, bar none, is the best looking rare cover. It's, you can't go wrong. Like, I really want to get this. I do think it's going to dip a little bit before San Diego Comic-Con. I think that's the time I'm going to make my move on this comic because I really want one. I mean, it looks fucking awesome. I really like that cover. I don't even own the common, but I just want to just jump to the rare. I should probably own a couple of the commons. And I think that's it. I think I only did 3 rares. Oh well. Thanks for sticking around for that, guys. Black Knight. That's the one I could not think of the name for the life of me. Yeah. Brah, my first SR I won was Jafar. Let's go. Was it Jafar? I thought Jafar was a... Is he an ultra rare? Or a secret rare? I thought he was an ultra rare. Jafar. That's how you pronounce it, right? Yeah, he's an ultra rare. I did win a Jafar, actually on drop, so I did get lucky with that. What's up, dude? Let's go, vibes. I'm late. Well, it's a late night stream, so don't be worried. I mean, it's been less than an hour since we've been streaming. It's Raiden. It's Raiden. It's been a while, dude, so I forgot how to pronounce your name again. You're the secrets definitely ain't the best covers for sure. Yeah. I like the secret. Like, don't get me wrong. Nothing is going to be able to obviously push the upper limit of the price than the secret rares, and those are going to be the equivalent of the comics that are the 9.8s, the 9.6, 9.2. You know, right? Because that's kind of the only equivalent we have for the physical counterparts. So anytime there's going to be a point where secret rare sales for some of the higher end stuff are going to be so infrequent. Eventually, people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, by the way." You know, Amazing Spider-Man #1 secret rare finally sold, and it sold for, you know, 37K. People were like, oh my god, and then all of a sudden the price of all the Amazing Spider-Man #1s are gonna go up by like 10%. Like they're all gonna chase for the most part, right? Maybe the common a little bit more, but it's like I could definitely see that happening in the future. Hey, hope you're doing well. Awesome, thanks, BeanTech. And then Dub, ASM 50. And Strange Academy SR are a couple of my favorite covers as well. Let's check those out. So, Secret Rare Comics. And then, oh, I should have just went to favorites. I mean, favorites has all my favorite covers. 50, that's the first appearance of Kingpin. That is a good, I almost picked that one actually as one of my, that's probably been my number 4. Probably 3 actually. I do like this one a little bit more than 798 Amazing Spider-Man. I do like that one. That's the first appearance of Kingpin. And then Strange Academy, I do like that one as well. Strange Academy. Very colorful. Very... I haven't read this comic, but I can imagine it's basically just My Hero Academia, except in comic book form. And I do think something like NFTs could help revitalize comics, because from what I've heard, the comic book industry has been kind of struggling these last few years. I mean, a big part of it is probably COVID, don't get me wrong. But I think a big part of it too is like a lot of people in the US I think are starting to turn towards more manga. I think a lot of people like manga books over comic books, just because there's a lot of new stories. I think the characters are more well written, the stories are more intriguing, that are also just more new stories coming out too. It just seems like, you know, Marvel and DC and stuff, they're kind of just rehashing the same stories, and every new hero is a cousin or a brother or a multiverse dimensional variant of a current hero that already exists. Like manga / anime / you know, all that kind of entertainment mediums do a pretty good job of like coming out with like a new thing every year or every 6 months. There's like a new big thing going on. You're like, oh, that's cool. So I do think like NFT comics might help people not get not only into comics, but also like revitalize their passion for it potentially, for sure. Here, that one's cheap. I bought one to like you say, great cover. We have a similar cover taste for sure. I think so too. Dude, that's also one of my favorite covers. Yeah, there's a lot of great covers on Veve. I forgot I could just go to my favorites. I forgot about that. Like I did have like a list of favorites. So the commons for my favorites were Marvel Spotlight, NYX, and Captain America Annual 8. I just like the typical, not typical, but the classic adamantium versus vibranium, right? Addy Claws versus vibranium shield. Classic. So that is the rares. The uncommons were this one, of course, this one, the meme template, the best cover of all time. And I do like the Carnage one. It's one of the more unique looking uncommons. Just the all black with the deep red and the Carnage. I really like that one. Rares I already showed earlier. It's those four. Ultra rares, Ghost Rider, those four. Ultra rares, Ghost Rider, Avengers 47, and I do like this Silver Surfer Black. Silver Surfer Black actually has some pretty cool looking covers. Not a huge fan of the common cover. Secret Rare looks cool. The rare looks nice with the reflection of the Fantastic Four on the board, and then the uncommon and ultra rare look really sick. But I really like the look of just the purples and blues. Probably because those were the Veve vibe colors. That is definitely probably a little biased towards that. And I already showed off the secret rares earlier. Those are the three. All right, let me catch up with chat. Also, we'll, whoops. Go back to here. See what the market's doing. I think the 5 drops a day during San Diego Comic-Con was fake news. I re-listened to the AMA and David Dude didn't say that. I must have dreamt it. I apologize to all. Yeah, I just thought like, I'm like, dude, 5 comics a day, that is nuts. And even if they drop it every 2 hours, right, that's a whole 10 hours people need to be ready for drops and all kinds of stuff. So I imagine, what, 4 days of San Diego Comic-Con, I feel like at most we would get 5 drops. Basically like 1 a day, maybe 6. And even then that would be a lot. Like what, a drop a day, and then maybe the first and third day we'll get 2 drops or something like that. Cap. That Ultimate Fallout 4 rare is fire. It's a fantastic cover. It's a fantastic cover. You don't like the Future Imperfect cover? Is that with Hulk? I don't really like the Hulk covers. Like, I would love to get the classic, like FA Hulk on Veve, but I'm not a huge fan of like the Imperfect Hulk stuff. Imperfect? What the hell am I typing? Which one's the rare? Interesting. I don't think I've seen this before. I probably did, but again, just overlooked it. Oh my lord. That's kind of cool. It's like a gift shop with a bunch of like Marvel / Avengers like memorabilia in there. That's like Professor, or maybe it's a museum. It looks like a museum. Thor's hammer, Spider-Man's mask, Doctor Doom's like gauntlet and mask, Doctor Strange's cape, I don't know what that blade is from. It probably belongs to someone. It's definitely not Silver Samurai, but that's all the Iron Man outfits. Professor X's wheelchair. Is that the Punisher didn't wear a mask? Whose mask is that? Also a broken blade, the nuclear explosion. What's the nuclear explosion a reference to? This is where all the Marvel geeks need to come out and help me out here. I forgot what the nuclear explosion like references to. And then, oh, that's Cyclops' visor in the top, bottom left. You can barely see it, but in the very, very bottom left, that's Cyclops' visor that he uses. Is that the blade for the broken blade? Is that the blade for Black Knight? And the mask, it's kind of hard to tell. It almost looks like a Punisher skull, but Punisher didn't wear like a mask that I know of. And the head next to it, I don't know what that head is next, or whatever the hell that is. But it looks cool. Definitely the museum. Like, I'm sure if I actually read the comic, there's probably a page that has this on there. But what a vibes. How about that Pry 2 tanking? About to buy one when it hits 200. Nice. I'm not too interested in it. I'd rather just buy. If I had like an extreme abundance of gems, sure, I would buy it, but I don't. And I really want to start positioning myself into comics and certain collectibles. There are a handful of collectibles I think I'm just going to buy when San Diego Comic-Con gets close. Mostly the common T-Rex as well as probably the uncommon Raptor, just because I do want dinosaurs and I do want the variants. I do have like their mouth open and I do want to play with it in AR and stuff, so... last I saw too is that the T-Rex was, if I just put in Rex, will it show? Let's go. That the ultra rare T-Rex was like 100 gems. Last I saw. Like, this really dipped. So this is what, okay, maybe not. It's at 200. What am I thinking that went down to 100? I think it was the ultra rare Raptor. That's what it was. I think the ultra rare Raptor, I think blue, went down to 100 potentially. That's the rare. Okay, that doesn't help me. If I type it all out, blue animated. There we go. The ultra rare. I think this hit like 100. Yeah, this was like at 100. And this, you know, could always go a little bit cheaper, especially if people are FOMOing into comics really hard. I could see that. Because I mean, if you sell one of these, right, and you're good for the whole 4 or 5 days of Comic-Con, just going off drops. MC1 common looks sick. It does look really cool. I do like that. There are many, many incredible covers, like the UR with Magneto ripping out Wolverine's adamantium. It's a good story. And unfortunately, from what I've heard from the other comic book collector guys, is that typically, even though some stories are very good, stories just tend not to sell well. And just like real life, just collecting wise, you know, first appearances always do really, really well, obviously. And then once in a great while, a non-first appearance comic will do extremely well for a certain reason or purpose. I totally agree about the new Kraven rare cover. My favorite comic covers have been mostly villain covers, especially... Yeah, I do like the Uncommon Vengeance #1 as well. That's actually one I pointed out. That would almost made my list. Mostly because it has all of the... not just Spider-Man, but also the, like, just Marvel bad guys in general. This one right here. How much is it going for right now on the market? 14? Yeah. It's a cool cover. Red Skull, Magneto, Loki, Doctor Doom, Doc Ock, and Bullseye. All cool. And actually, now that I think about it, they're all the multiverse versions, right? So that's what, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Captain America, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and then obviously Thor. Or Asgard's or Thor or whatever. So it kind of has all the main bad guys from each of the different bad guy or different hero groups, let's say. Hashtag Tokidoki slept on. I think so, Wooloo, in a way. I think some of them... I still like the Dragon Girls quite a bit. That is Tokidoki. I do like the Dragon Girls quite a bit. Dude, I remember, God, I used to flip these all the time back in the day. Back in, yeah, like October, November, December. I was flipping these a lot. I was flipping these. I was flipping Pitbull hoverboards when all the speculation about like the Veveverse and you could fly them and people would have stores with like, you could rent out hoverboards and all this stuff. People are talking about like, looking back, people talked about all kinds of stuff that they had like no clue. Just literally 110% speculation. And people were just hyping up certain collectibles and just buying random stuff and flipping. And there was a handful of collectibles I was flipping quite a bit and making good, good gems doing it. Dragon Girl was one of them. I do like the common and uncommon the most. I'm not a huge fan of the ones that are like silver and gold because you can't see like the tattoos or like the artwork really. It's just the whole thing is just dipped in gold. It's like, okay, I guess that's cool, but kind of want to see the artwork. That's just me. You forgot Vengeance Uncommon. That is a very good one too. I do like that one. I kind of wish it just wasn't so like watered down. Like the colors just look very like watered down. Do I still have it up? No, I don't. I obviously this is the site. The colors on that comic just look a little bit watered down, but I still like it a ton. I love SM14 Secret Rare Green Goblin. Riding a condom. Spider-Man. Okay, Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, that that one is kind of silly. I think if I just type in 14, it should show up. This one. And it looks like he's more like he's riding a syringe. He's about to inject someone and give him like hepatitis or something like that. I'm the Green Goblin or the hepatitis giver. Yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a syringe, and it's just he's just gonna like just jab someone with it and just yeah, it doesn't look appealing. And that's Captain America 1. Let's go. That's 4 in a row. Yeah, that whole cover looks like a Sean from Texas Tattoo. I don't know what that means. From Texas Tattoo. Is that a show? I don't really watch TV, to be quite honest. I just mostly watch the occasional shows or movies, and I do it all through my I have means of watching shows for free, let's just say that. I don't need to be subbed to HBO Max and Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu and 3 other platforms. I'm just like, I'm gonna wait literally a few hours until it airs, and then I can just watch it for free. All covers should be like the Silver Surfer, all different covers for each. That would be cool, but it is probably takes artist times, and on top of that, it's hard to come up with actually 4 different concepts, right? Because you have the classic cover, which is cool. I guess the secret work could be relatively easy. You just panel pull and then you just Photoshop the rest. But basically having 3 colors that are all genuinely unique, that would be kind of difficult. But I mean, I don't mind it the way it is, black and white rare, and then ultra rare is just the colored in version and whatever else. I wouldn't mind more like the Silver Surfer. Let's say that. I wouldn't mind more, but blow that up one time. Which one? Marvel's 1, Powers of X, Tales of Suspense 52, and Thanos 13 uncommons are all pretty cool looking. Been waiting for a good Tales 52 mint number. Hell yeah. Yeah, 50th anniversary is also late July, early August. Marvel's dropping an anniversary comic with multiple covers to celebrate. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Rob Stuff said that earlier, that I guess it's like early August or something like that is the anniversary of Amazing Fantasy. Hey dude, don't chat too much, mostly just listen to your stuff. They did say there will be 5 drops. Okay, so around 56 minutes into the Givenchy. That's how you're supposed to pronounce it, apparently. That I read or heard. It said 5 drops a day. I'll have to re-listen to it. 56 minutes into the live stream. Can we pull that up? Kind of want to just like pull it up, to be honest. I might just like pull up Dino's like live stream of it. I really don't want to like open up really don't want to like open up Discord and then find it and then like have to go ahead and stuff. All right, let's see. Give me a sec here, guys. So when did they start? Okay. Music. 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 When does it actually start? So 52 minutes from here is, oh god.
But thank you so much for your questions, and you know, I hope, you know, to meet you all in person at some point, whether it's at a Pride party, whether it's at an LGBT event, or whether it's at, you know, one of the Veve events, a Comic Con or something. You know, I really simply join their general chat and post hello from Veve to qualify into that giveaway there. So if you'd like to participate, thank you very much. And thank you, Amar. We might just reset the room for a second, team, and then we will get on with our regular AMA. Well, thanks so much, Reese, and it's been a great pleasure being here. Thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you.
Time's doing it, obviously, so I can just kind of catch up.
It was great, wasn't it? I think we still have a lot on the list, man, to get to, so may as well start with this.
Is it around this point, Justin or Austin? Justin, Austin, Growl, was it around here?
I could listen to that, the whole track. Some very successful movie promotions go out of Veve. As many of you would know, we did talk up the promo. Correct me, but I think it was just one question you had to answer. You may want to check it out or download it and see if you can. The future of merchandising is digital, right? All these companies are leaning into the space. You may make a different choice. So for now, I think it's easier just to say nothing is happening with them. Some of these promotions are still live as well, guys. It's good to remember that. We will necessarily change the edition size of the mint, or if we will add metadata to say, you know, but in both one from those, Dave or Steve, have you guys seen any other questions relating to those promo codes that would be good to cover? If Alex had more knowledge on it than me at the time, then maybe that is the case, right? And then that one would maybe not the burn deed, just to kind of keep it clear for everybody, you know. Now, the news that everybody has been waiting on and talking about for months and months and months. Or we needed to implement KYC. So now that it is rolling out, Veve is officially an 18-year and older app, right, to participate in, to be able to submit those KYC documents. We are working on.
I heard this part, but I'm exactly 52 minutes, I believe. Okay, I'm gonna have to open up the, or actually, I could just go to. Sorry about this, guys, but I do want to play it and I do want to confirm it because it seems like portion of the people think it is happening, portion of the people think it's not happening. So I'm actually just going to go to the Veve Twitter. I think that's easier. Oof. What's going on here? Okay. Let's quit that. KYC payout guide. That's not what I want. It's the advertisement. Okay.
It's incredible. Hopefully that.
Together to address this very
guys.
All right, I'm at.
Oh shit. The licensors, right, and each of these promotions tends to be with a different licensor, who may make a different choice. So for now, I think it's easier just to say nothing is happening with them. Some of these promotions are still live as well, guys. It's good to remember that, even though the claim date may have opened 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some of them are open for 30 days. Some of them are open, wasn't it? I think. Since the last time we spoke, we've seen some very successful movie promotions. We have seen that Jurassic World. To participate in that, there was a trivia sweepstakes. Now, someone might be able to correct me, but I think it was just one question you had to answer about the film there to go into the running. But 1,000 of those were made available as prizes as well. And some of you may have seen this morning, I think it went out on Alex's Twitter space, and you've probably seen it in the app by now, but there is a Thor Love and Thunder poster taking place now. To participate in that, let me find it. No, I do want to maybe just pin that the post from Alex's Twitter at the top here as well. But he has basically said, if you're in the US, I'm sorry for anyone who's not in the US, but these are location-based promotions, and you have the Cinema Theaters app, you may want to check it out or download it.
All right, let's see if he says it. I honestly missed all this in the AMA.
That is
so.
a Veve exclusive poster as well, as far as I'm aware. So some pretty exciting things taking place there, all of which obviously contribute to raising awareness of Veve and introducing.
I'm exactly 52 minutes
to NFTs, and I think at this point we can probably all see that the future of merchandising is digital. Right, all these companies are leaning into the space, and we now have the capabilities to support those initiatives. So all very exciting things there. Now, I'm sure I'll get these questions later, but I will try to cover some of the most frequently asked questions that we see throughout the community on these kind of things. So we have a lot of people asking what happens to the unclaimed editions from the promo codes. So that fundamentally will be up to the licensors, right? And each of these promotions tends to be with a different licensor who may be days, some of them are open for 60 days, things like that. So definitely still some time to redeem for what they would like to take place with them. And the second question we usually get is, will the edition sizes be updated to reflect if they are burnt or something like that? Only 1,000 in circulation, or in existence if they get burnt. So I think that will be
exactly 56 minutes. Okay,
that would be good to cover.
One that you did, without kind of on the promo date.
Decide. Well, I think we've mentioned that we will be attending and part of this. Now, this is the first year since 2019 that Marvel Studios will return to San Diego Comic-Con, Hall H specifically, and we will be popping up at their booth this year. So every day during San Diego Comic-Con, we'll actually have 5 Marvel Con exclusive drops. So if you are attending, make sure you go and see the Veve team. I think both Dan and David will be there. I might be wrong about that, but either way, the team will be there. And obviously, there are a few other giveaways as well. So a few lucky fans at the event can win an exclusive Veve t-shirt bundle during Marvel's giveaway hour as well. So if you're attending,
so it's if you're in attendance, right? It's not on the app. You have to be in attendance there.
All right, fantastic. We will move on specifically, and we will be popping up at their booth this year. So every day during San Diego Comic-Con, we'll actually have 5 Marvel Con exclusive drops. So if you are attending, make sure you go and see the Veve team.
So every day, 5 Marvel Con exclusive drops. If you are attending, make sure you go see. So it sounds like I don't know what the hell that means, to be quite honest. Like, do you have to physically be there to even participate in these 5 drops? Because he doesn't say like 5 con exclusive drops, be on the app, be right. He said like, oh, just go see us physically. Like, it sounds like it's like a physical thing.
David will be there. I might be wrong about that, but either way, the team will be there. And obviously, there are a few other giveaways as well. So a few lucky fans at the event can win an exclusive Veve t-shirt bundle.
I think like it sounds like throughout the day at the convention, they'll be giving away 5 comics or maybe promo codes for comics or something like that. But it doesn't sound like we're legitimately going to get 20 to 25 comics dropped within 4 to 5 days. It doesn't sound like that. I don't know if you guys could hear that, by the way. I don't know. Sorry if it's quiet, but what's good vibes here working the graveyard shift? What do you think about the powers of X, secret rare and rare, and the House of X #1, rare and secret rare? I think I heard it has a good story. Sounds like the only people that will go will get the drop. That's what it sounds like. Yep, at the event by the sound of it. It sounds like it's an event thing. It kind of was like, what, really? They're going to do 20 to 25 comic drops over the course of the 4 days. It sounds like they're just doing giveaways. So whether, and I don't know if you think, did he say that they were like physical?
That's just the promo date and maybe not the burn date, just to kind of keep it clear for everybody, you know?
Cover the part of this. Now, during San Diego Comic-Con, we'll actually have 5 Marvel Con exclusive drops. So if you are attending, make sure you go and see the Veve team. I think both Dan and David will be there. I might be wrong about that, but either way, the team will be there. And obviously, there are a few other giveaways as well. So
yeah, it sounds like it's all just you have to be there to get in on it for the most part. That's what it sounds like. So cool. We'll get back in the Groovy things. Talking about the what powers of X? I think if I just put of X, it should show both. Comics. Let's see, the rares. I'm not a huge fan of like the cartoony, like, I don't know, like newspaper cartoon style of comics, to be quite honest, like this art style. That's just me personally. The secret rare, like, to be honest, I get it. It's cool. It's two different comic covers that apply together and you can do it. Is it worth, what, 1,400 gems? I don't think so. Even more than that. What is this? Yeah, it's basically 1,400 gems to get both. To be honest, I'd rather get a lot of other things for 1,400 gems, other than the fact that I could say, oh, I could put these two covers together. I'm not sure how much these are even worth, like in the real world. I mean, we can look it up. So go collect. See, I'm just genuinely curious. I haven't like looked this up in a while. 26 bucks. Interesting. And I know there's more to it than just, oh my god, CGC and that's it, but it's just not up my alley. Let's just say that. And it sounds like it's more of a spec investment, right? Not only spec investment like, oh, like Miss Marvel or America Chavez, more like, could this take off on Veve just for the fact that like the secret rare covers connect, or like it's going to be a Veve, you know, it's going to be an exciting drop because it's on Veve and the covers and stuff. I just don't see it personally. Now, that's just my personal opinion. It could take off. It could do really well. That's the hard thing with kind of opinions about certain comic book covers or spec investments, or what do you think of this or that? Because it's like, it's very easy to misconstrue me saying like, oh, I don't like it, to be like, oh, you're fighting it, or what about the people that have invested 1,400, 1,500 gems into this? You know, I don't want to make them feel bad at the same time. It's just not personally what I would go for. I will say, if you do have both covers, you're probably in that, what? You're probably one of maybe a dozen people, maybe 24 people that has this, like on the entire Veve app that has both of these covers. So, I mean, that's cool, but that's the TV trick, dude. Private message me on Twitter. What's the TV trick? Oh, I mean, there's sites where you can just pirate videos, honestly. It's super simple. And not even pirate them, it's just, you watch them for free. There's like live streaming sites that just, I think I literally just went to free live streaming sites, Reddit. And there's like a bunch of Reddit posts where people just give you recommendations for like live streaming sites. That's what I did. Grade school Guernica is going up out of nowhere. Really? Let's see it. I think if I just type in school, it should pop up. Or actually, it's better because that's probably a little out of date. Let's actually check this. School. Hello? There it is. Oh, it's not going up that much. I think I bought mine at like 120 or some shit. I bought it way too early. Because when did this come out? This came out in March. Yeah, I mean, it's still quite a bit down from where it used to be. I mean, I'm still not going to sell mine. I still have 2 on my main account. It'd be really awesome if I could see this like whole chart. Yeah, it's up to 90, which is cool, but unfortunately I think I bought both of mine, I think at around like 120, so like around here when it dipped. And I bought it down here and I'm like, oh my god, this is great, I'm gonna hold it, and then it was like dipped exactly. Oh snap, reset it, good to know. I'm not experiencing early onset dementia. Thanks, Austin. Yeah, it sounds like it's just Yeah, you have to be at the event. Con exclusive drops are usually for everyone. I bet there will be 25 comics that last week. Did he? I mean, it based on the how Reese presented it, he said there's going to be 5 designer con, or there's going to be 5 exclusive drops. There's going to be 5 exclusive drops there. He's like, come by to see me or David, and we'll like hook you up or whatever. So I'm like, kind of sounds like it's an in-person thing, but not. I would love to get clarification on Twitter. If someone just asked, be like, hey, is there really going to be 5 drops a day, or was it just like you kind of just misspoke on accident? William Peartree, what's up, dude? Great seeing you. I think this is going to be their coming out party to the comic world from the center of the comic universe. Of course, I'm a moon boy. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they did, but just the way he phrased it, it made it sound like each day they're maybe giving out like promo codes, or I mean, I feel like he would have said promotion though, like promo. And then why did he say Comic-Con exclusive drops, not just like, oh, we're having drops during Comic-Con, that's it. It's not like the Star Wars drops are like I guess it might just say it in the description of the drop, like, oh, this is a Star Wars Celebration drop, or this is a San Diego Comic-Con drop. Maybe. I'm not sure. I would just love clarification on it. I think there will be drops open to all users. They said the same thing before DCon 1, but just threw up CE tag on everything. Okay, gotcha. Okay, now it makes sense. Can you imagine the hype they would get going with 5 drops a day in that atmosphere? They could get everyone in that place going for drops if they play it right. I think so too, Rob Stuff. And I even said this before, like, anyone that comes up to the booth, just give them a promotional code for a comic. You know, nothing too crazy. I mean, you look at the Spider Buggy, like that's a nothing comic, but look at how much it's going for. Like, let's see here. So comics, 130. How much is that selling for? It's going for freaking 1,200 gems right now. I mean, that's, you know, obviously we're still not sure what the hell the rarity of this actually is, for the most part. But like, if they were just giving out promotional drops to all the people there, and they can just get a nice little bag into Veve, like they could sell their comic for, you know, 100 gems, 200 gems, 300 gems, whatever it is, just to kind of get them started. Dude, I hate to say it, like I'm really trying to like get used to this graph thing on Ecomi Wiki, but whatever this update is, I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, I was told that, like, okay, you need to like move it up and down to kind of like showcase the price and stuff, but it's okay. And sometimes I have to like zoom out and then move it up and down, zoom out, move it up and down to finally get to a chart that looks like this, to like where it's more zoomed out. Yeah, I mean, it got down to the point where there's like single digit 9 listings. Obviously, now that it's at well over 1,000, people are obviously taking profit. Now there's over 30 listings, but will it be the first 1 million gem NFT that actually sells? I say partner statue late 2023 will sell for 1 million gems. Oof, that's tough. I could definitely see a Secret Rare comic getting there, or yeah, one of those NFTs like Secret Rare Spider-Man or like Walt or something like that. And it has to be, I would say, like a specific mint, like a unique 1 of 1 mint or something like that, or like a low mint. Because I bet you, like, at the time, like maybe the floor is like 1/5 of the price, right? But someone is just willing to pay that much extra for some special, like, crazy 1 of 1 mint. Not entirely sure. Dub, how is it considered exclusive if everyone can go for it? Not sure how they would do. 5 drops a day, the market would barely be open till everything is over. That is actually a good point too, as well. Where it's like, because each drop, the market is down for basically an hour, right? I mean, nowadays it seems like it's 45 minutes, where it's like 30 minutes before, then like 15 minutes after sometimes. And it seems like Veve might just have not necessarily a switch, but they do have a toggle on when they want to open up the market. And yeah, I mean, I guess if they really wanted to, maybe they have the tech now to just keep it open all the time, or I'm not entirely sure. But that is a good point to bring up, where like the market would just be closed. Like a lot. Like I don't know how else to say it or describe it. which limits the new user base they are looking for from buying it immediately. Instead, they'll be looking at market closed. And on top of that, not only that, they're going to be trying to buy something and they're going to be like, oh, this collectible is already reserved. Oh, what about this one? This collectible is already reserved, already reserved, already reserved. Like, that is just frustrating as a buyer to deal with. And not only that, there's really nothing in the app that explains to you like the reserving aspect, right? Until you actually find a collectible you want to reserve. But even then, sometimes you just don't connect the dots that like, oh wait, someone is reserving this. Like, oh, I can't buy it. Or, oh, when I try to buy something, there's a little countdown timer. That's me reserving it. Like, oh, okay. Like, it's not really spelled out that way, but I can't see them sustainably closing the market for drops forever. I would think they might switch it up. I would hope that like maybe the few days prior, they might say like, hey, due to the volume of drops we have scheduled for San Diego Comic-Con, we will be either not closing the market or like, hey, we're going to be closing the market like 10 minutes before the drop and then 10 minutes after the drop. And then that way it's, we minimize the amount of time that the market is closed throughout the day. Who knows? They can legitimately do whatever they want unless they're limited by some software deal. T-Breeze, remember months ago there was a YouTube video called RIP to those that sold too early? Now they can do one for people who bought too early. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have those videos. I mean, the funny thing is, like, you're gonna have those videos every like 6 to 12 months, like, because that's the cycles currently on Veve, where it's like, oh, you bought too early, RIP. You sold too early, RIP. You sold too late, RIP. Like, I could definitely see that, but no, I don't remember a video like that. Said to those who sold too early. I don't know. Long-term opinion on Harley Quinn 19 from first season. Is that the first appearance? I think the first appearance is great. Let's check out Harley. That's the first appearance of Harley, right? No, that's something different. First appearance is 56. This one's 18. Gosh, it's hard to tell, man. Like, it's so hard to kind of like formulate opinion when you have this many Harley Quinns. I think it's kind of gotten to the point with Harley Quinn and Batman where there's so many of both where it's like, it's hard for some of these to stand out. It's more about price point, right? It's kind of gotten to the point where it's like, do you like Harley? Yes. All right, how much are you willing to spend on Harley? Because we have different price points, right? It's almost like buying different like internet packages or whatever. Like, some people might like certain things, but it's like, so yeah, I like Harley, but I only want to spend like 40 bucks. Okay, cool, then just get the Harley Quinn Deluxe too. All right, I really like Harley Quinn. I want to buy the, I want to buy the best Harley Quinn. I guess technically FA. I mean, Steve Pugh is something that is an anomaly. I usually just leave that out to do its own thing, but if that's the case, it's like, oh, I want to spend 200 bucks. Okay, then buy the FA or whatever. So I'm not too, I don't really have any strong feelings about it, to be quite honest. Like, 25 editions is pretty low. Don't get me wrong, but they've had trials of keeping market open for drops. They'll get there eventually. Might be ready for it. That'd be awesome. He said drop. Not sure how they would do a drop in just one place. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's why I was like, do they mean promo code? Because like they could give it out physically or like just tell you there physically. I was just kind of confused the way it's phrased. But if they've used that same verbiage before for the decon stuff prior, then sure. Reset encourage people to go see them, so maybe they'll give out codes. I could definitely assume so, yeah. William Peartree, I am keen to sweep Strange 110 floors or hold liquidity until no. If there's a significant, it'd be really, really surprising if we didn't get at least 2 significant drops during San Diego Comic-Con. It wouldn't surprise me if we got 1 a day. Like, all right, here's 4 to kind of like keep people interested and like some kind of like classic or maybe some cool cover comics, and like each day is gonna have like 1 hard-hitting comic, and of course the last day or maybe the middle day will be like Amazing Fantasy to get everyone's attention. I think the perfect day to do Amazing Fantasy is probably like day 2. Like, day 1, get some people seeing the Veve logo, walking around, all that stuff, and then day 2, like, drop Amazing Fantasy, People were like, dude, that's crazy. They dropped Amazing Fantasy. And then like now there's 2 more days where people are still walking around. They can still check out the booth, still play the drops. You know, I would hope they wouldn't wait. I mean, they could do whatever the hell they want, but I think it would be cool if they did it like more early in the thing. Market didn't close last drop. Interesting. I didn't even pay attention to that, to be honest. Mark D, I think they're going to auction off a 1 of 1 very soon after MTL for all. Banksy would easily surpass a milli and would bring so many eyes to Veve. Yeah. I could definitely see that. I'm not going to win any of those auctions, but it sounds fun. Justin Grau, if it's an exclusive in-person drop, I hope they do it again at NYCC because it's much less expensive than San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. They did a test on the last comic drop. Comic stayed open the entire time. Okay, I didn't read that part at all, to be honest. I overlooked it. Delivers need to happen immediately and market stays open. Market never sleeps. Well, I don't think, just due to the minting process, you know, deliveries aren't going to happen immediately. And as much as I used to hate it, I actually don't mind the fact that like it does take a while for deliveries. I know it always seems like, oh, I never get mine early, but like when you probably take the average, it's like, all right, 33% of the time I get it within, you know, the 30-minute block or maybe the first like 15 minutes before the market opens. And then, you know, the rest of the times it should be relatively even. Yeah. So I don't mind that like some deliveries do take a while because like maybe there's that one time where it's a shit drop but you get an early delivery and you just manage to like barely sell it for some profit and just kind of like exit out really quick before it like starts really crashing, or vice versa. Maybe you get a really good drop, you're able to sell it for a lot before everyone else does. So I don't know. Harley and Batman are a joke, at least not the FAs, that's for sure. And Harley and Batman are both very popular. There's just so many, and I think that's the thing too. It's like just the fact that there's so many. The only ones that stand out to me personally is like Steve Pugh, just because it has the lowest mints and is pretty unique looking, and FA. All the other ones are like, I feel like you have to like really stretch to. It's just saturated. That's really it. There's just so many Harley Quinns and so many Batmans. You got to find the ones that stand out, and in my opinion, that's the FA version. That's just it. Any thoughts on Kang? You are comics, so undervalued, epic cover. Kang is a fantastic comic. I'm not biased at all. The fact that I have a couple copies of it, or at least a couple of the NFTs of it. Come on, holy hell. Actually, I could do it here. That is a cool looking cover. I mean, it looks like the SR cover, right? Wow, it actually went down to 660 at one point. I mean, it's a fantastic comic, and it seems like Kang is going to be the next big baddie, right, of the MCU. So I like it. And I think a lot of people forget, too, that there's only 10,000 mints for the Kang. There was... Yeah, so like the ultra rare only has 500 mints. That's the same as a secret rare for all the other comics. So rarity wise, that's pretty damn low. And then if we look at the, I forgot you can go down here and click these. That's actually kind of cool. And it's kind of interesting. And this is part of the reason why I kind of like ultra rares also, because I mean, this is literally a tenth of the price as the secret rare. Like if you can get a secret rare, go for it. But if you can't, I still think ultra rares are awesome. 250 secret rares of the Avengers. So, yeah, there is that. I had the 5 drops a day during AMA. I remember being a little shocked at the time. Yeah, dude, there's so many. There was so much information in that AMA that I think a lot of people that did recaps of it still like missed information. Like I watched like 3 or 4 different recaps, and each one missed like 2 pieces of like crucial information that another one covered, but that one missed 2 pieces of critical information that like another one covered. So there was just so much information that AMA. It was actually really hard to like break it all down and like cover the significance of all of this stuff. Do you think Veve will release another T-Rex? Obviously, the current one is listed as Dominion. Do you think that will be the only T-Rex? or think they will release the original vintage T-Rex? I genuinely don't know. Even if it is, it's not going to be FA because we already have a T-Rex. Even if it's relabeled as like Jurassic Park T-Rex. I don't know. That kind of goes under the whole FA thing. It's so confusing. It's like, all right, we already have a T-Rex and it's Jurassic World, but the new one would be Jurassic Park, and it's a different, what's it called? It's a different series. I think that's one thing I kind of got Alex G to kind of admit to on Twitter. This was like freaking like 5 months ago or something like that. I mean, and we're kind of going back and forth on Twitter, and he's like, well, if it's a new series or like a new series, I believe, then it would be a new set of like FAs. I still don't understand this shit, to be quite honest. We need a Heath Ledger Joker. That would be a Grail. Yeah, I'm just not sure if we can use like actual like professional actors and actresses like image or like their persona, like their looks in NFTs for the most part. Justin, people that get fast delivery have an advantage. It's not fair. I mean, it goes both ways, dude. There's going to be a time where you get an early delivery and it's going to be an insane comic or either a really terrible collectible and you just like want to get rid of it ASAP. It is an unfair advantage, but it's unfair for everyone. Let's say that. Because it's literally random. If there was like, God forbid, it sounds like EA or something like that. Now, if there's like a pass you could buy, like give you like a higher chance or kind of guaranteed you got early deliveries, yeah, that'd be freaking terrible, but we don't have that. I think the fact that it's unfair for everyone makes it fair. What's up, Vibes? How much is Todd thinking about selling my Tesla stock for some collectibles? I can't really say anything about selling stock or other stuff. That is totally up to you. How much you want to invest or not invest or sell. Todd right now is sitting at 2,500. Where's he been the last 6 months? Probably don't even need to look all the way back to 6 months. Really the last 3 months. That's what we need to see. Fill this up. It's fair because eventually you'll get a fast delivery if you go for drops. Exactly. It's like if literally everyone, if you're playing a sport and everyone had to tie one hand behind their back, it's unfair, but because it's unfair for everyone, that's what makes it fair. It's a level playing field. At least for the delivery system. Yeah, so how much is Todd? Ooh, I can't believe Todd actually went to 4,600. He's chilling. 2,500. I think his all-time low was 2K, pretty much. This was back in June 16th, so 3 weeks ago. He's pretty cheap. Pretty cheap. I don't know how difficult the minting process is, but 150k editions a day seems like a lot. Yeah. And I'm sure Veve's going to switch up the amount of editions for certain comics. Some comics will have 10, some comics will have 30. To be quite honest, I do think, and I'm curious what Rob Stuff's take is on this. I took notes on the AMA still miss stuff. Yeah, everyone has the same chance of getting delivery early. Completely fair. Yeah, I think because it's random, that's what makes it fair. I'm curious. I really think if Veve does Amazing Fantasy 15, I do think they will do 60k editions, match Marvel Comics #1. The same thing, same mints. 48,000 commons. Let's actually look at it really quick. I like it on here. Comics. If I just click on any one of these, it should show all of them. Cost to complete the set. $32,000. No biggie. So I could definitely see them doing 60,000, and I still think it's going to perform insanely well. I said this before. I do think Amazing Fantasy Common will go above 100. 100 gems easily, even at 48,000 editions. So if they did 48,000 commons, I'm trying to look at the uncommons here, 6,000 uncommons, and I believe it's like 3,000 rares. I think it's 2,500 ultra rares. So 3,000 rares, 2,400 ultra rares, not that much less. And then the secret rares were 600. It wouldn't surprise me if they did 300, because that seems to be the baseline now that Vivi's kind of figured out. The baseline for comics is 30K. But it would not surprise me if they did do 60 for Amazing Fantasy, and it would still just crush the app either way. If they did 30, that would just... it would go bonkers. But even at 60K, I think it'll do very, very well. I assume the mints were delivered in order of purchase, hence why rebounds always came last. I guess that's the only part, is that people that bought it on the drop do get first deliveries, but that is random when you get it. There's been times where I buy something on all three of my phones, and like I'll buy on my other two phones first. Like my third phone, I forget to click buy, or I wait, or whatever it is, I click buy later, and I sometimes get that one delivered first. It seems like it's genuinely random. 101 drops shouldn't happen till interoperability. If you spend 6 figures on an NFT, you're going to want the option of securing in cold storage. That makes sense. Since we're all speculating, why not Hulk versus Wolverine during Comic-Con? Yeah, first appearance of Wolverine. I think they would do Hulk 180 and 181 the same day. Just put the cameo and the first appearance of Wolverine in there, and both are going to do really well. Though 181 would do better of the two. I want Jurassic Park truck from the first movie. Yeah, I want the Jeep or the either the gray and red Jeep that, remember, they're driving away from the T-Rex and it's like chasing them, or the SUVs that are like on the tracks, like the green and yellow, and the T-Rex is like going through the ceiling, or not the ceiling, but the like sunroof, I guess, of the vehicle. Like either one of those vehicles would be cool. But the Palace is here. Zach Rory, what's up, guys? I'm gonna watch Iron Man 1 4K after the stream. Psh, yeah, I actually just started watching Miss Marvel, the new one, the show. I think I'm up to episode 4 right now. I think it's okay. It's definitely for kids. It's like a nice coming of age story. It just, I don't know. Not a huge fan of it, but maybe just because I think it's just because I've gotten older and I'm a bit more cynical of like storylines and all that stuff. I don't know. It's just, I guess part of it is I'm not a huge fan of the movie because, not, you know, spoilers, but I mean, this literally happens in the first 15 minutes of the first episode, so it's not that much of a spoiler. But like the thing that makes her powerful just literally just drops in her lap. Like it gets delivered to her and she just kind of finds it later randomly, and then she puts it on, and then all of a sudden she's just like powerful. Like there was kind of like no sacrifice. There was no contemplation of should this something I do? Should I take on this power? Should I do this? Like that seems like to be, you know, it seems like a lot of the other superheroes had to sacrifice something or deal with some sort of insane trauma, or had to basically make the hard decision of whether they should go through with it or not. Like Hulk, you know, basically going through all the gamma stuff, basically sacrificing himself. Same thing with like Wolverine. Same thing with like, I don't know, like it seemed like a lot of superheroes, there was actually like there was actually a story arc around them getting their powers, but like it just seems to be non-existent with the Miss Marvel show. It's just like, oh, she just gets it, and it's, I don't know. I understand it's like for kids and it doesn't need to be super fleshed out, and not every superhero story has to be some sort of super moral and contentious dilemma, but I don't know. I did like some of like the music parts in it. I do like the there's a couple of things I did like about it. I just don't remember off the top of my head, but I did like it. What's the peak price of Homer and Bart? We can take a look. I want to say, if I had to throw like a wild guess, like 3K? It's been a while. since I have looked at Homer and Bart. It's been a while. All-time high. Is it in February? Yeah, there was this like weird secondary pump. I remember like there was the dip and then like the golden moments like retained their value very well. And they had like one huge pump and then like a huge drop off. So I don't really consider that peak. I don't know, let's just look at the max. Let's just look at the whole thing. Because I think we might getting to the point where it's actually been more than 6 months since the all-time highs of certain collectibles. Amazing Fantasy 15 will be amazing. X-Men #1 will be cool also. Agreed. VV Arcade in the house. What's up, dude? Yeah, I mean, technically the all-time high is 2,800, but like I would more rather look at this. Like the average, I would say during this, how long was this for? So January 18th to February 14th. So for a full month, the average price I would say was about 2K for Homer and Bart. I'd more rather look at the numbers like this than like, oh, what's the tippy top peak of Homer and Bart that probably like 1 or 2 people bought and it just immediately dropped after 6 hours. Like, not interested in this peak. I'm more interested in like the average. So yeah, that's what I would say. They would make 150K Fantastic 15, Amazing Fantasy 15, I don't know, and it would still sell out. I think so too. It would still sell out, don't get me wrong. They would have to push, I don't know. I think it would still sell out. It would obviously just take a while if they did, yeah, like 150K or something like that. But it would lose a lot of value just because there's, at least right now, it would lose a lot of value just because there's so many of them. But you think AF15 will be worth more than Marvel's one? Yeah. I think you mean Marvel Comics #1. Yes, it depends on the mints. If it's 30K, yes, for sure. If it's 60K, I would say all of the mints would struggle except for the secret rare to surpass Marvel Comics. That's tough. That's tough. I would say yes. It's hard because like Marvel Comics #1 has the advantage of just being like the first comic on the app, as well as just being in the market for like 9 months. So that is a huge advantage. It'll be a bloodbath if AF15 is 30K mints. I think so too. They may do more editions than that. If it's 30K editions, I think it outperforms MC1 long term. I hard agree there. Yeah, I said if it's 30K, I think it outperforms MC1. But if it's 60K, there could be an argument that like the other rarities might fall short, except for the secret rare over Marvel Comics. But I don't know. Yes, it would. If they do 10K mints for Amazing Fantasy 15, that'd be a crime. I really hope not. I mean, I trust Veve for what they do. If they do genuinely do 10K mints and they want that to be, you know, the crown jewel of all comics, then so be it. You know, I'm okay with it. I hope they do 60K editions with AF15 so there's a fair competition with Marvel 1. That way we have a better chance to stack. I agree. That would be nice. They did 30, it would be like Walmart on First Friday, yeah, or Black Friday, yeah. 181 would do better. Yeah, it would do better. 180 would still do well, don't get me wrong. It's, yeah, I think anyone that's a fan of Wolverine will want both. They'll want both comics, but 181 would definitely do better. Vibes, what's the show you mentioned yesterday, Superhero? It was more mature, you said watching it now. The Boys on Amazon Prime. Great show, obviously very gory, very lots of cursing, you know, lots of nudity and scenes and stuff like that, but I really enjoyed it. It's definitely the gritty, realistic view of if people were superheroes and how superheroes, because like, you know, you look at a lot of superheroes in like DC and Marvel and all that stuff, and like, you know, they have internal struggles, you know, that they deal with and conflicts and moral dilemmas and all that stuff. But like, it's all internal, but like at the end of the day, like they're all good. They're gonna do what's right for other people. Some might approach it different ways, but like there's not a lot of superheroes that are just like straight up narcissistic or think that they are just genuinely better than everyone that's not a superhero, and they just like, if if they do something and there's collateral damage and like 12 or 15 people die, they're just like, oh, whatever. It's literally nothing to them. You know, they're literally viewed as animals in a way rather than like human beings. So I really like the show. It's interesting. I don't know how to like elaborate more on that, but it's just something you have to watch. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're not hooked by like the second episode, like you're probably not going to like the rest of the show. But yeah. Marvel TV show seems mediocre in general. The Boys is way better than any Marvel TV show. I agree. I mean, it's two different things, right? Like The Boys can get away with like, you know, rated R rating, and they can do all kinds of stuff. But I do agree. A lot of the Marvel shows do seem very formulaic, very repetitive. And yeah, it just seems like, especially since a lot of the shows now, it's just like, you know, there's 6 episodes or 8 episodes. A lot of the stuff seems like very rushed. A lot of it seems just like not very well fleshed out, I guess. Like a lot of stuff is just, it's just hard to, some of the shows I think could have just done better as movies. And because the way shows are set up to be episodic, it's almost like they need to expand, you know, an hour and a half of content into basically what, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on how many episodes there are. And they always have to end every episode on a cliffhanger. And they always have to go about this roundabout way of getting to a certain point or a certain action scene. And there's a lot of filler content, kind of like anime, you know, it's like, it's the same thing. So it's a lot of shows I think could have done better as just movies. I think X-Men 1, 1991 is a good one if they release it. Over 8 million comics, most printed comic of all time, 5 different covers, IRL, 30k NFTs. Wouldn't match Go Collect at all. And that's the thing, that's the hard part of like comparing something like just going strictly off Go Collect, right? Like I did it earlier with Powers of X and House of X. Well, I don't know about the comic for the most part, so it could do much better on BB than I think, but that's how I basically overlooked Spider-Man #1, because I was just like, I mean, I looked at Comics and Crypto's thing. They're like, all right, they said HODL, but you know, I don't have a ton of gems, and there's no like significant FA. And I looked at the CGC, the price is super low, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just literally just said whatever. Didn't even play the drop, just skipped it. I think I was just doing something else. And yeah, I regret that, because knowing now, it's like, oh, that's actually like an extremely popular comic, even though it doesn't sell for a lot. So, The Boys is the new standard, yeah. I like those types of shows. It does seem like, I've said it before on my stream, maybe it was someone else's stream, but that trope of like, you know, the leader being bad or ends up being like not the good guy is a little overdone. We've seen it with Justice League. We've seen it with Invincible, like the cartoon show with the Omni-Man. You know, now we're seeing it with The Boys, and I think there was another show that did it. There's another show that did something similar. I think Heroes did something like that. Yeah, there's like a few other shows that's like, it's kind of gotten to the point now where the trope is a little overdone. And it would be nice to have yeah, Icarus was kind of that character in Eternals. I don't know if you guys have seen Eternals, but like, spoilers. If you haven't seen it, you're probably not going to care to see it anyway. But if you have seen it already, like that was also kind of another trope where it's like, oh, he turns up being bad, and he's basically Superman. He can fly, he's super strong, he has laser eyes. Like, come on, like that's basically who he is. So the trope has been a little overdone. LMB Bats, The Boys is tied with Daredevil for me. That's a good Marvel show. Vel's new video looks intense. What's Vel's new video? Vel show? I don't know. Vel. Let me know what that means, Justin. Vel. And speaking of Daredevil, I'm happy it's coming back, and I'm concerned it won't be as good as before. I think I watched a little bit of the original Daredevil, and I think I liked it, but I just didn't care to keep up with it for whatever reason. Killian Martin Navarro. What's up, dude? Tales of Suspense 57. Hawkeye F8 9.8 just sold for 100K. Will VV value get closer to the physical as more comics drop? Maybe the secret rares. It's hard to tell because I mean, if we look at that, and the price already did pump because of that comic, by the way. Like, do I really have this many? Oh my god, it actually opens up a new tab each time. No wonder. This is Suspense 57. Do they catch up to like the physicals? Maybe. What the hell? Maybe like the secret rares? But it's hard to compare something like VV NFTs when you have what? Census. Census means that's how many are confirmed to have this rating, right? I know this doesn't seem like it's updated yet, but even then, you said a 9.8 sold for 100K. What? There's 6 of them registered to be at a 9.8 rating. I think that's what census means. Okay, population 6 of 1900. So that sounds about right. So there's 1900 that have been sent into the CGC, and only 6 are 9.8s. So it's hard to say because VV, you know, technically, if you want to consider something a 9.8, that's the secret rares, right? Or maybe low mint secret rares for the most part, or maybe like a 1 of 1 comic that could, you know, like let's say the year the comic came out, or maybe the number 57. And it happens to be a common or maybe a secret rare. I don't know. It could potentially happen, but for some of these like higher end comics, that's going to be difficult to do. I mean, we've already seen it quite a bit with some like the lower or like some of the mid tier comics. Like they've already surpassed the price of, like we literally saw that with Spider-Man 1. Like, I mean, hell, like the ultra rare is more expensive than like the physical counterparts, but. I love AF15's art color palette. Yeah, I do. Tomb of Dracula 10. AF15 101. Good God. I've said this before. I still think the most expensive NFT on the app will be a 1962 Amazing Fantasy 15 secret rare. That would be ungodly expensive. I do think a NFT like that could be one of the first ones to hit over $1 million. Like an AF15 year, the year it came out, or maybe like if we actually had mint number 15 as well, like that would also do insanely well too. If VV actually like released the low mints. VV Arcade says such a good choice to put Spider-Man in the cover of AF15. They could have easily not, and it would have been not as cool. Yeah. And my other thing too is I think what VV is gonna do. Did I close it? I guess I did. So open it here. Another thing that I think VV is going to do is I think they're going to make it basically as close as they can to Marvel Comics. So not only are they going to make it 60,000 mints, I think they're also going to do the comic covers like this. Just like this. The common is the classic cover, and then all the other editions other than the secret rare is going to be the same classic cover but just different art variations. A, for simplicity. B, like I can only imagine how hard and or an honor it would be to be the artist that is hired to do the Amazing Fantasy 15 cover, right? That'd be very hard to do and hard to top, and that's tough. So I do think just for classic's sake, they're going to keep it like this. So Amazing Fantasy 15, which I don't know if you guys have, for those of you guys that haven't even seen it. Amazing Fantasy 15. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Hopefully we can get like a good picture. Oof, why is it only showing the top half of it? That's strange. This is what it looks like. I know it's kind of blurry because we're zooming in here, but this is what it looks like. So I can definitely just see them doing the classic cover and then 3 different variations of this cover. You know, different black and whites, one with the Amazing Fantasy highlighted, another one with like the guy and Spider-Man highlighted, or maybe just Spider-Man. I think it'd be cool if the common was this. The uncommon, what does it look like for this? So this one just has him highlighted. So maybe the uncommon would just have Spider-Man highlighted. Oh no, that's the rare. So the uncommon is just the title. So maybe just the amazing, maybe just the top half, like the Amazing Fantasy. It'd be cool to actually have the title, the top, and like maybe the texts, like the little speech bubbles highlighted in Spider-Man. Then the rare would just have Spider-Man. Then maybe the ultra rare would just be completely black and white. That's an option. I thought about it too, of like having like just maybe the guys in the background as well as like the dude being colored in, but I think there's some options there. I wouldn't mind that either if they just had the layout just like this. The latest season, The Boys totally bored me. Yeah, it's not too great. It's something I've noticed with a lot of shows like that, especially in anime too, but just the first season is so much about character building, and you start really building connections and relationships, and you start really getting invested in these characters, right? Like usually the first season, you know, people die off, there's, you know, some of them overcome certain obstacles and stuff like that, which is awesome. And then usually season 2 or season 3 is like they're really struggling to like expand upon those, or it's like those same characters are still tackling the same issues, or they start really zooming out into some crazy macro sense. So it's like something that was about these characters or this group of people, and it was like super interesting, and there's conflict and there's backstabbing and all kinds of cool stuff going on. And all of a sudden it zooms out, and like a big corporation or like a big group comes along, and like there's just way too much focus there, and everything's like in a huge macro view, and it just gets very boring. Then there's tends to be a lot of exposition, as well as just like less action as well, like less fighting, less limit testing of like the guys and like their limits. I don't know, that's just what I've noticed typically. So usually the season 1 is always the best because obviously it's just fresh and it's new and it's cool, but usually the following season's always very slow down. It's the same shit a lot of the time, so I do agree. But season 2 is a lot of fun. I did like season 2 of The Boys as well. Did you watch Invisible, animated adult superhero TV show? Yeah, I have. What's your opinion on UR animated Deadpool? I like it. What the hell's the price of it nowadays? Ooh. It's the uncommon. It's the common. It's the ultra rare for $100, and there's 3,600 of them. It's a pretty good price. I mean, there was a point where this guy was going for, I think, over $1,000. Maybe not $1,000, but maybe like 600. I don't know. It's been so long since I've looked at some of these prices. Yeah, there was a point. I remember he was like barely over $1,000, or like at $1,000. Yeah, just shy. All the way down to here. I think it's all right. Veve is, I think, pretty much confirmed that they're going to be allowing the ability to add or remove accessories. So if you really don't care about him looking all goofy like this, like with the sweater and stuff. I mean, ultra rare. I mean, still a first appearance Deadpool, regardless, no matter what. So even if he does look goofy or whatever, I know it kind of fits into his personality. I do like the uncommon and the rare the most, because like, at least the rare, it's an action pose. He's like hopping a fence, or it looks like he's like hopping something. He has his blade out, and it looks more of like an action shot for the most part. Or is he like, I don't know if he's like hopping a fence or he's just like laying down posing. Same thing with the uncommon. I think him without the hat and just posing with his thumb up is kind of cool too. Like with or without the sweater. So I don't know. I guess it's just, again, it's just me personally. But I think especially like something like the Secret Rare, where he's like doing a very, very silly, like feminine dance. Like it'd be funny, but do it all the time? I don't know. Yo, brother, change your mind about the Young Avengers 1? I don't know. Like, what are they doing right now? Did I change my mind? I think they're doing all right. I don't know. Like it's just me personally. I'm just not like the biggest fan of the. I wish I went for the drop. Don't get me wrong. I think I did go for it, but I only got a common, and I had obviously the opportunity to buy more, but I just stopped at one for whatever reason. I ended up just getting a common. I'm just not. I don't know. It's just me. It's just my bias. People that have talked to me know I'm not a huge fan of Disney and Marvel, and I don't think the writers can do a good enough job to like make basically just like rehash superheroes interesting and unique. I don't know. Did you see Moonfall? It was sort of dumb, but pretty good ending. I think I've seen it. I saw it like a month ago, but it's honestly so forgettable. I forgot how it ended. I also get it confused with Don't Look Up, which is a somewhat similar show, I believe. No, it's like more of a comedy, but I don't know. Cavell? Oh, what about him? His metaverse video? I don't know. You talking about Moon Knight? I don't know. What are people talking about? Knots in Space, completely unrelated? I don't know. It would be weird for Veve to announce DC Comics at Comic-Con while having a booth by Marvel. Maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. Soldier Boy up in that. Oh. That's what I immediately thought of. I bet that's what a lot of people thought of when they heard Soldier Boy. I'm not sure if it'll be weird, Killian. I mean, maybe. And that's the other thing too. It's like, are they going to be at the Marvel booth every day, right? Like they could be there for one of the 4 days or 2 or 3 of the 4 days, right? Maybe there's a day where they secretly go over to the DC booth and they don't announce it, or maybe they are doing DC Comics. Who knows? I'm down for all of it. Whatever Veve does, I'm down for it, and I'm going to be spending a good amount on the comics. Have you smashed the like button, fam? Let's take a second and do it now. Good late night entertainment. I agree. 2 of my friends who I put onto Veve long ago got withdrawals today. Nice. That's awesome. I still don't think I have KYC yet. I feel like I should be getting it soon, because if we're all trying to have KYC or cash out by I don't think it's unusual. It's definitely planned, the fact that Veve is expediting cash out, KYC, all these different things right before San Diego Comic-Con, right? They seem to be pretty adamant about making sure everything is squared away. Everyone has KYC, everyone has cash out by the middle of July, a full week before San Diego Comic-Con like really kicks off. So I don't think that's a surprise either. Yeah, but going back to Young Avengers, I will say whoever this guy is in the front with like I guess he's supposed to be like a bootleg Captain America. He does look pretty cool. I will admit that. Like I do like the mask and like the look and stuff, but everything else, I did hear a little bit about this story. How the Young Avengers aren't like technically the Avengers. They were just kind of just doing their own thing to get the attention of the original Avengers. Not entirely sure. But I mean, it's mostly just for, even though some shows do get a lot of views, I pay more attention to the critics, or I should say the viewership reviews afterward. Because just because the show gets a lot of views, it doesn't mean people like it, right? I know it sounds counterintuitive, but like, same thing with the new Obi-Wan show. Like Obi-Wan was the most viewed. Obi-Wan Kenobi, like the show, like the first episode, was like the most viewed Disney Plus show that was ever released or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's not because it was a good show. It's just because like people just wanted to see Obi-Wan again. It's like the first time they've seen Obi-Wan in 19 years. Like that's the main reason. And then of course you got all the reviews and stuff coming out. Me personally, not a huge fan of the show. I mean, if you like it, that's awesome. I didn't see Moonfall, but Autograph / DraftKings Marketplace gave out an NFT for that movie. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of a completely different movie, Moonfall. I'm thinking of a completely different movie then. So many comic girls to come. Avengers 1, another great one. Yeah, there's a lot of really good comics coming out. Austin says, I started on Veve with the Amazing Spider-Man #1 drop and got an ultra rare plus uncommon. I regret not buying the FA Spider-Man NFT. but I was new to NFTs and iffy about spending so much back then. Yeah, a lot of people forget that. In case you guys didn't know, so we'll just do this. Spider-Man. I hate it when it does this. So first off, Secret Rare Spider-Man. We look at this. Okay, oh my god, it's worth so much. Yeah. The box price was $400. So back then, you could actually choose which rarity you wanted, I believe. I mean, that's what it sounds like or looks like here. But you had to pay $400 for the secret rare, which in hindsight, 2020, right? Hindsight, you're just like, well, why not buy this? It's an easy, you know, freaking, you know, 1000x or something crazy. Or technically what, like 50x, 100x, whatever. Same thing with this. So like the secret rare was 400. The rare was 100 box price. Uncommon was 50, and I assume the common was probably 40, if I had to guess. So back then, like, box prices were really high. Like 40 for the common. Ultra rare was, yeah, 250. So it was not a small amount of money. It's not like it was a $50 box price and you just went bang, bang, you know, just knocked them out, right? You just bought as many as you could. It's like, no, you're paying 250 or 400 for an ultra rare or secret rare. And back then, that was a lot. I picked up a common Ultraman the other day for 98. I remember them sitting close to $1,000 in January. Was it that high? God, there was so much like just pumping and just speculation and so much like, yeah, dude, that was just a crazy time. January, December, crazy times. Do you think they will give us Action Comics 1 as the first DC comic? That will be a crazy drop day. That or like Detective Comics. I think Detective Comics 1 technically didn't have Batman, right? It was like a later one. Let me see. First appearance of Batman was May 1939. Detective Comics number 27. So yeah, it wasn't like the Detective Comics number 1. It was actually number 27. So we could get that first. I don't know, but it kind of makes sense. Action Comics number 1. We would get that first. I could see that. T-Breeze, did you see the info about the Bat Cowl owners voting on DC's first comic NFT? I did. I actually own 2 Bat Cowls. I'll be honest, I completely forgot to vote for the like storyboard thing. Like there's a, you know, Bat Cowl owners can kind of like help with the storyline of the NFT comic book or whatever. And it would be really cool if we all got a copy of it. Once it's finished, we all get a NFT copy of it while they sell it in real life or sell the NFT copies or whatever. I completely forgot. So I do have 2 votes. Also, to be quite honest, I was considering selling 1 Bat Cowl potentially, because I do know Cash Out is coming July 7th on Palm NFT. So it'd be kind of cool to like sell a Bat Cowl, cash out. Unfortunately, probably have to wait a month, which seems to be pretty standard for cash out for NFT projects, apparently. And put that money into Veve. That'd be sick. Bruh, I got KYC popped up, but I didn't do it. Then logged back in and it's gone, won't pop up again. Huh. I would submit a support ticket, the Notorious God. I would get that figured out ASAP so you can actually start like buying stuff and doing stuff on your account. So, I mean, try logging in and out and doing a few other things, but if that doesn't work, just put in a support ticket. Veve's support has gotten much better. I will say that. It sounds like pretty much across the board, Veve support has gotten much better. Yes, they were almost at 1K. I wish I sold then too. Yeah, everyone does too. Justin, Andrew. Everyone wishes they sold all of their NFTs in January and then basically just like casually play some drops here and there for the next month. Like don't buy anything big, just casually play drops and then just don't buy anything. Like basically don't buy anything in the secondary market. Just play drops. I want to pull the trigger on Ultraman myself. It looks really clean. It was out of reach for a while. Let's look at this Ultraman. Everyone's talking about Ultraman. Is there a space there? Or is it all one word? Guess it's all one word. What are you guys talking about? The common? It was 100. 9,500 mints. Not high, but not necessarily low either. Zoom out. Let's go. Same with my Steamboat Willie, still down bad on it. Yeah. Dude, a lot of the Disney stuff, especially, holy shit, the lenticular cards, dude, they got choke slammed on the market. They're down a lot. Yeah, maybe this went up higher sooner. Let's go max. Yeah, I wish I did the same thing with my Steamboat Willie. Like, I rode it all the way up to 10K and then all the way back down to wherever the hell it's at now. Like I've done both. I clicked max and it's not updating. Well, whatever. I guess this is the earliest it goes. I mean, it says max, so it should be showing like all the way back to October. There it goes. Holy hell. Yeah, it went up to, at least according to Ecomi Wiki, right? Sometimes there's sales that happen between the hour that Ecomi Wiki just doesn't pick up on. But yeah, this basically went up to $1,000. Real question is how long did it hold that that price for? So it went up to $1,000 for what? And then it went immediately down to 800. I mean, it held this price for legitimately an hour. Then it went down $200. Whole lot of listings. I think Ultraman will do well. Me personally, I'd just rather invest in things that are known internationally by most countries. I know a lot of people know about Ultraman, but it's like everyone knows Disney, everyone knows Marvel. You really can't go wrong with that stuff. Same with like Star Wars or other stuff. Let's see. Ultraman Ace does look pretty badass. I do like it. I don't know why, but I like it when he has his fists together. And I think another thing that kind of shied me away from Ultraman, and again, I'm not trying to fudge your guys' investments, I'm just saying what I heard, and that's it, is that this is not the original Ultraman. This is the original Ultraman. This look. Where he kind of has like the smooth helmet, he does like this kind of thing. And the eyes and all that stuff look a little bit different than this. And from what I've heard, you know, obviously this look is different. This is more the new age like Netflix series look or whatever. That maybe some of the people that do like Ultraman might not like this new look, right? They might not like it. So that's kind of like another thing. Would be cool to eventually sell sets on Veve. I think it would change the market. Less wanted comics. Rarities would be more wanted / needed. Would have similar impact as MCP, also trading. I think so too, YouTube. I thought about doing this with like something called contracts as well, where basically on your account, you're able to, it'd be really tough because as much as you want to mix a comic with a collectible and then a Cryptkin with a Invisible Woman and then a Deadpool and then a bunch of other stuff, I think in order for that stuff to work, and especially how the fees work, I think you would have to basically sell stuff as a set or have it all belong to the same IP, something along those lines. And you would have to sell it as a set and then get the money that way. Because it's like, let's say you sold a Cryptkin and then an Invisible Woman, like, and let's say you sold it for 100 gems. Where does the 100 gems go? Like, do you put 50 towards Invisible Woman and you put 50 towards, you know, the Cryptkin? Or because now you're selling it as a package, can you literally put 99 gems of the value on the Cryptkin because that's a 2.5% fee, and then 1 gem towards the Invisible Woman because that's an 8.5% fee? It just gets weird like that. You know what I mean? So I think you would have to sell like comics, or if you, let's say you own like the whole Transformers set, a whole set of like Transformers, you would have to like sell it as a set. You can't sell it with anything else. You can only sell things in the same set, I guess, if that makes sense. Maybe you could cross over like, all right, I'm selling an Invisible Woman. and a Captain America and this and that. Like, as long as it's under the same IP, like, you can sell it because it's an 8.5% fee no matter what, and it's all going to Marvel. Like, it doesn't matter. So as long as it's under the same category or IP, like, that's a potential. But I get what you mean, because I think the main issue with like doing stuff like that where people can just buy it is like how are the fees paid out, because they have to pay their licensors when there's a transaction, unless there's trading. I that's another thing I'm kind of curious too, is how the hell the trading is going to work out too as well. I guess you would just put up an offer, right? You would just say, hey, I have these collectibles, I am taking 150 gems, you know, send me an offer or send me a trade. I would love to see a trading system somewhat similar to Steam, where you like people can put in what they want on one side and then what they are gonna get or what they're willing to trade for on the other side. Though that does open a whole can of worms when it comes to scamming and or misleading people, as well as tricking them. And on top of that, you have to come up with a chat system inside of like the app so people can actually chat live. It's a lot of steps, but fun of the sun. I got the SR Rare Spidey for 400, and it was at 1.5k for a nice amount of time. Glad I didn't sell. Hell yeah, dude. So you still got it? That's awesome. Dub, interested or invested pretty hard into Marvel Mighties. Have 17 total. What are your opinions on them? FA tag is what draws me to them in rather than gamification speculation. I like the Marvel Mighties. I used to hate them, mostly because of the look, but the fact that a good majority of them are FAs, if you know, even if there's zero gamification, you can always fall back on the fact that they're FA. So if it's Green Goblin, Human Torch, Ghost Spider, Loki, Odin, like any of those, you know, any of those ones, Spider-Man 2099, it's like, cool, like there's no gamification, but like it's still FA. It's still the first appearance of those like really popular characters. So at least there's that. And I will say, not a lot of NFTs have that big catalyst of like, what if there's gamification? And gamification is, gaming in general is like one of the biggest growing industries that literally exists. Like that's like really exploded over the last like 10 years. It's nuts how big gaming is and how profitable it is as an industry. So gamifying it opens up a whole bunch of doors for people to start spending OMI or gems or renting or whatever the hell you want to do as well. Veve Arcade says, have a good night, vibes. Thanks, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate your opinion. Guys, go check out Veve Arcade and subscribe to him. Justin, just play drops? Yes, but only some. Some very selective right now. Key is survival. Yeah, exactly. It's like play some drops, but not all of them. Like avoid Toby's, avoid a lot of the independent artists, or if like you do want to play those, be sure to flip out very quickly. And just do that. Like, yeah, like hindsight 2020, like honestly, if I was on Veve, if someone asked me, I think this, like, oh, if you were on Veve like a year ago, what would you do? Or like if you were in Veve like very early 2021, knowing what I know now, like I probably wouldn't buy Todd's. I wouldn't buy, you know, like Spider-Man's would be cool to own. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd probably buy a few of those, but the one thing I would hard stack is Marvel Comics #1, hands down. I would buy as many commons as I could in the secondary market. Of course, I'd be playing the drop, but everyone that's below 20 gems, I would have bought them all. Literally as many as I could, knowing what I know now, right? In hindsight. Because there was a period of time where people were literally flooring Marvel Comics #1s for 2 to 3 gems for a while. Just, I guess, just fishing for the secret rare and ultra rare. I don't know. But I'm holding 2 Cals too. I'm thinking of getting more if there's a dip during the release of Cash Out and by the long game. Yeah, that's why I bought 2. So if I did kind of like want to sell one, I could, but there's definitely one I'm going to be keeping for the very, very, very long term. And it's also interesting. It's one of those NFT projects where it's like, it's slowly going to accumulate value, right? Because we do get those new, because we have a 2-year roadmap, which is awesome to see. And on top of that, we do get more utility like every 2 months. I think it's like 58 days or whatever, but it's like basically every 2 months we get new utility or a new thing that added to being a Batcal owner, which thus inadvertently makes it more valuable to be an owner of the Batcal, right? So Drew Lucky, I sold that mouse at 3K. Hell yeah. Choke slammed, great example. Yeah. Getting just choke slamming, just suplexing, just Lenticular cards just getting suplexed on the market. Ultraman was huge in the US in the 1970s. Really? Well, the classic one, right? Not whatever the hell this is. The classic one did. That's the other take, right? That's like, hold on. I think I've shown this example before. I think the perfect example is like this. Trying to find like a good picture. Did I mess this up? I know there's different variations. Okay, this is a good example. This is actually a very good example. It's kind of blurry, but whatever. I think it gets the message across. This is how I would imagine it. I could be wrong. Whoops. Would it be something like this? Where it's like this. It's like, by the way, we are getting Power Rangers to Veve. Oh my god, this is great. Everyone expects this. Classic Power Rangers. See if I can remember their names. Jason, Zach, Kimberly, Trinity, or Trinity, and then Billy. And then we actually end up getting this. I don't know. I know it's blurry, but we get Dino Force or Dino Fury. It's like we're getting Power Rangers. Like, oh my god, this is great. We're getting Dino Fury Power Rangers FA. Like, wait, what? What the hell is this? I want the classic. That's kind of. I could be wrong, but that's how I'd imagine how it might play out. I mean, Iron Man. Yes, I don't know. It is in Asia. It's their version of Ultraman. Okay, it is. Is it? And I've heard so many conflicting things. I've heard a guy that said that he legitimately lives in China and his dad watched Ultraman and all that stuff, and he said like this is like the poster version is the original version. Like this is the version that they watched. Like this is the classic version that like everyone knows of. How do you price a collectible comic with a cool non-low mint like 1212, 111, 123? Honestly, you can't. You just have to find that right buyer. I mean, you could just put a premium on it and then just hope that someone is willing to pay it. But there's, at least I haven't heard or known of a way of just like, oh, it's 69. Oh, it's a 4.5 times floor, or it's a 1111. Oh, you just put it for 20% higher than the floor. Like I just don't know. Now one like 666 might not matter to most, but if there was something like Ghost Rider, which is really cool. I mean, he literally makes a deal with the devil, so, and that's the number of the devil. So like there could be some special mints in that scenario. There could be some connections there, but it's really hard to price it. I don't know. Veve Vault does. I don't know how he gets the numbers, but he somehow manages to kind of like throw numbers out there, and I guess it's always better to go too high than too low. Obviously, like if you think it's too high, like maybe even go a little bit higher, and then you just never know. But are you still holding your fin? No, I think I sold that a while ago. Drew, blockchain for Mickey and Goofy, etc., are going to be interesting years down the line. Blockchain for Mickey and Goofy, etc. are going to be interesting years down the line. Yeah, we'll have to see. What do you say is the best buy for around 100 gems right now? Are you looking to buy multiple things, Drew, or just like one item for 100? Because there's a big difference if you're looking to like stack versus like buy one collectible. Tron Walker, Loki Mighty was at 10 for a sec. Now it's almost 25. I have the Gator. Ooh, I gotta get it when it gets a little lower. Yeah. What if? Well, what's Goofy at? PP. Lol. What is Goofy at? Peeps were getting him for 5K after drop. Yep, that's when. I would say the lenticular cards. The Mickey lenticular cards were they were like the first last drop of like the very optimistic market. Like things were already going down for a while and we're like, all right, like things have been trending down for like the better part of 3 weeks now. Like, is this gonna stop? And it didn't. And I do think that was the first drop that people were still thinking the pump of July, or not July, but of January was like still gonna happen and things were still gonna hit all-time highs. So people not necessarily FOMO'd in, but just like thought like this is the new standard market. Like things ran up, things are gonna keep going up. This stuff is, you know, it's a secret rare. It's the first secret rare Disney card, and the cards are very collectible and blah blah blah. And yeah, like that was, I think after that, and we saw the prices keep going lower. That's when we started realizing like, oh, like this market is really struggling right now. So, Bob Sales. Anything over 150 in the app is risky for me. I can't do it. Yeah. Too much room to go down. Yeah. I'm excited to redeem my IRL Hot Wheels NFT in August. There are a huge amount of collectors. Over time, people buy specific cars for thousands. I might go for the third drop, which is this week. That's awesome. I haven't heard about that. That's pretty cool. Hey, Vibes, will you go all in for AF15? Yeah, I will. I will say this. I'm not going to hard chase in the aftermarket because I literally just don't have enough gems to really do that kind of stuff. Mostly Money TV donated COP 10,000 through Super Chat. Dude, I thank you so much. I don't know how much that is. I grew up in the 70s watching the Poster Ultraman. New sub. Shout out for Cali, Colombia. Hell yeah, dude. What's up, Mostly Money TV? Yeah, I figured that's the version that everyone knows about. Like this, this is the classic version. This is Dino Force. Like, that's how I view it. At least that's how I would view it, to be quite honest. Is my thing flashing sometimes? Like, I don't know why it's, I don't know why sometimes it like makes my screen go black and come back. So hopefully that fixes it. Is it doing it every time? Or is it just me? Are you guys seeing that too? I apologize if that's happening. If the screen like just randomly turns black and then doesn't. Are you trying for Tuesday's drop? I'll have to do more research on that. I want to see Comic and Crypto's evaluation as well as my collectibles, as well as probably talk to Sleeping in Comics to see what he thinks. I mean, I might, but I'm not. I got Todd at 2,400 back before he pumped. I bought him at the very bottom. He has too much support at 2,400. Yeah. And you got to remember too, there's some people that still have a shit ton of Todds stacked. Like there are still people out there with anywhere between 5 to 50 Todds, still just selling them off one by one, very slowly as a new drop comes. So it's going to take a while for, I think, that one to run up, because anytime there's a semi-significant drop, there's always going to be one that's going to be floored. Nice, Notorious. I sold Donald for 1K after drop. That's awesome. I got Vader at 1,600. That's his bottom too. I could have sworn he was going for like, I'm talking like immediately after the market. I could have sworn he was going for like 800, right? I guess the bottom meaning like this was days after he was released. Sheesh. Notorious Beck, yeah. Tron Scour, that's Ultraman's son. The common poster is the original Ultraman. It's cool, but yeah, I'm okay if I skip it. Yeah. I didn't know it was his son. It makes sense. But because is the son, because it's like a Netflix thing, right? I got extremely lucky on that Marvel Mighty drop and got the FA Beta Ray Bill secret rare. It's crazy because I got a secret rare Beta Ray Bill comic earlier in the year on drop too. Dude, that's awesome. Dude, I would love. I have a ultra rare Beta Ray Bill that I spent like 500 gems on, and of course now it's like 220. But yeah, that's awesome. I got really bad luck on the Thor drop. I think I got 4 commons. So I told myself, I'm like, all I want is the ultra rare. So all I want is Odin, Beta Ray Bill, and like maybe a few Lokis, which I ended up getting 2 Lokis, but I ended up getting 2 Thors, 2 Lokis, and 3 Valkyries, which is the uncommon, which is like still below box price. I'm just like, oh my god. Honestly, the only thing that could have been worse is just getting all Valkyries, or just like maybe no Lokis and nothing but Thors and Valkyries. But I was just like, come on. So I ended up, I really thought Loki hitting 2021 was going to be the top. I'm like, all right, it might push 22. So I actually ended up selling my Lokis at 20. So right now it's at like 25. I think it ran up to 28 one point and then it retraced a bit to 25. How about I just pull it up instead of talking about it? Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? It's at 24 right now. So I did take the short-term profit. I also genuinely thought that the Marvel Mighties, the Thor ones, would keep going down in price, and people trying to prepare, or people trying to liquidate to have enough gems to play the Pride drops. I thought that was going to happen, but guess I was wrong. It's kind of funny how you can actually look at the listings and the buying pressure almost happen in tandem, right? Like the peak that happens here happens right where there's more. When the price goes up, I guess it's a cause and effect, right? Because people are buying, listings are going down, prices are going up. So it's almost like the, what's it called? It's like a mirror, or like the upside down. You just like cut the plane in half. Good point. Classic Power Rangers would be awesome. Yeah, classic Power Rangers would be cool. Just saying about Goofy and Mickey because they don't have the FA tag, but they were the first on blockchain. Goofy and Daisy. Exactly. Yeah. We'll see. I'm genuinely curious to see how much people really care about first on blockchain stuff. I do think it's going to be important, but there might be a point where if Veve is going to be genuinely the Amazon of all NFTs, people might just be like, we understand that the first appearance of this thing is on, this other platform, or it's this collectible, but we're just going to go by Veve because it's the Amazon and NFTs. We're just going to go based off of that. So yeah, we're going to buy this. I guess it's probably a shitty analogy, but it's probably the best one I can think of. It's like cameos versus first appearances in comics, where, okay, like technically Wolverine we got to see Wolverine and 180, Hulk 180, but his first appearance is 181. So it's like, is there a difference between a cameo versus a first appearance or whatever? I know it's a bad example, but it's like, all right, like I guess the cameo is like the FE, but like the FA is like the actual like first appearance. So it's like, all right, the Goofy, or let's say the what's it called, the Donald Lenticular is the FE. It's the Hulk 180, but it's like, all right, like we get it's the first on the blockchain, but like we don't care because we just care about the FA tag on Veve. So yeah, we're just gonna buy that. I don't know. So we'll see. And there could be two different camps of buyers, right? Or two different people, 2 types of investors: blockchain investors and people that just invest on just basically what Veve says. There could be that as well. Again, mostly money TV. I grew up in the 70s watching the Poster Ultraman new sub. Shout out from Cali, Colombia. Hell yeah. Interesting. So y'all were watching, I guess it's not technically anime, obviously, but interesting. What's your best sale on Veve? Best sale? I don't have any like sales where it's like I was just like up a ton on something. I was usually pretty quick with my flips back in like October, November, December. I did flip the Pitbull hoverboard a lot Earlier I said I was flipping the Dragon Girls a lot. I'm trying to think if there's like one. It's just been so long. And I also just flipped so many NFTs during that time. It's hard to like think of like one instance. Other than my Walt. And in case you guys didn't know, I actually did win a Walt on drop. I actually ended up selling it for like 9K, knowing full well that it was probably going to go up in price. But at the time, I was like, look, I've done this before, where I've actually made money selling digital assets and other video games, mostly Team Fortress 2. And I made a few grand doing that. And I told myself, like, look, all right, if I want to make money on the platform and flipping and really getting my hands dirty in the market, and also making a channel dedicated to talking about the market, and, you know, it's not just the market, but just stuff in general, I'm gonna have to like actually have some liquidity to play with. Like, and at the time, I didn't have the money to just throw in thousands of dollars into Veve and just experiment, right? So I ended up selling my wallet for, I think, like 9.5 or something like that. So I ended up with like 8.8K or something like that in my account. I'm like, all right, now it's time to play. So I just bought a bunch of not just randomly. I was definitely looking at Ecomi Wiki. I was looking at listings. Whenever I would see listings start going pretty low, I knew like the prices could start cascading or start like going up very quickly. I paid very close attention to the market. I mostly looked at total listings for the most part. And when listings were going up and like prices really dipping, I would kind of start like, you know, buy the dip and then it would go back up. There was way more activity back then. Like people were just kind of just buying and selling just random stuff. Like even a lot of independent artist stuff would just go up and down a lot. So there's actually a bit of margin you could earn. And so I did that for a while, and I was actually kind of keeping in step profit wise with like Walt. Like even when Walt went up to like, you know, 15, 20K, like I was flipping enough. And of course, you know, vault value stuff, like prices were just naturally increasing. But I was actually like keeping up with the Walt price, because, you know, I would check Walt like once a week. I'm like, oh, what if I just held Walt and just sold it later? I was actually keeping up with this pricing until it like he hit like 30K, then up to 40, and I'm like, all right, I just whatever. But yeah, I tried a whole bunch of stuff. I bought independent artist stuff. I bought Dragon Girls. I bought hoverboards. I bought like different 007 posters, which are just god awful investments. 007 posters, or just 007 stuff in general, was really bad. This was before the bike, as well as like the Aston Martin, right? I tried a whole bunch of stuff, and I just found out that the stuff that just ended up being the best or most consistent was like DC and Marvel at the end of the day. Like no surprise there, but. So my Loki only for 29 today. Dude, that's awesome. I mean, you could just, I'm sure if I had to guess, I do think Loki could go down to 19 as we get closer to Comic-Con. Like once people find out that apparently there'll be 20 comic drops in 4 days, like people are going to liquidate stuff like Loki, because if you sell Loki right now and you get what, 23 gems or whatever, I mean, that's almost a full day of drops if you're going to play multiple drops or play out the drops, right? So Killian, would AF15 crash the market or pump the other Grail comics? It would crash the market for sure. I don't know about pumping the Grails. It would just crash the market. I think everything would dip, or people that do have multiple Grails would probably definitely floor one. Because I would say this, if I had like if I had 2 Marvel Comic 1 secret rares, and that was like my big ticket items, or if I just didn't have the means of like putting a lot of gems in, I would probably floor a Marvel Comics secret rare, just so I have the capability of potentially buying an AF15 secret rare, or just buying a shit ton. Like I would personally. I want to give my last Marvel Comic 1 secret rare up, but was that before 40K pump that you sold, Walt? Did you buy back in at around 6K? No, I didn't sell. Honestly, I didn't sell much at the top, because I sold some stuff, but like I really should have held on. I really should have sold, you know, Steamboat Willie. I had probably like 5 or 6 different golden moments and stuff. But no, I didn't buy back Walton at 6K. I mean, I honestly could have. If I sold most of my stuff anywhere between January and probably like April, if I sold most of my stuff, I could have like got back in a Walt, but I didn't leave myself enough liquidity to like go back and like buy a Walt. Like honestly, after I sold Walt, not sold Walt, but after I sold Walt, I don't think I ever had more than like 2,000 gems in my account at any given time. Like I was going all in. Like I was like, I'm gonna buy a bunch of shit from a bunch of different IPs and experiment and try and flip it. Which is better for short term? Which is better for long term? How much do the 2.5% fees really affect the value versus an 8.5%? All that stuff. So I never really left myself enough liquidity to like get back entry wise into Walt. And honestly, I never expected Walt to go back down to like 6K. To be honest, Geo. I thought it would stop at like no lower than 12. Like 15, like maybe 12, but going all the way down to 6 is crazy. Bob sales this time next year, right? I better head home. Finally finished work. Can't wait to leave this dump. If you still on, we'll catch you when I get back. Thanks as always. Of course, dude. Glad I could help you get through work. Just stayed an hour overtime at my pizza shop. I work with a bunch of heroin addicts. I'm in 3 days and I think I'm about to quit. They do so many nasty things. We'll never order food from there. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's... Where I live pretty close to like a train station. And like a train / like light rail, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like a metro rail. And yeah, there's quite a bit of homeless people around. And like, there are people that just walk onto this apartment property and just shoot up like on some steps and stuff. I'm just like, this is not good. Bounder Yo says, what do you think David was talking about in the last AMA when he said we're going to add new verticals related to the web app? So some people were thinking, personally, if I really had to throw something out there, I would say cards. We already have, so we have like lenticular cards, we have posters, but we don't have like cards. And so if we actually have cards, and if we're adding a whole new vertical, which means like maybe slightly new drop system, maybe different ways that the app reacts, cards would allow us to sell packs. And with those packs, you can either sell the pack as is, you can open it and then sell the cards individually. I do think that opens up a whole new thing. So now we can start doing potentially sports, we can do Magic the Gathering, we can do Yu-Gi-Oh, we can do all kinds of stuff with cards. You can build decks. Maybe there's not gamification in place, but just the fact that like, oh, in your showroom or just whatever, you can make a deck of cards and you can just draw random cards just for fun, even though it doesn't do anything. I think it's cards. I'm sure there's a lot of speculation out there to like just other things as well. But I do think like actually having cards, trading cards, and then having them being available to be bought as packs, and then you can either sell those packs as is, you can hold the pack forever, keep it unopened, you can sell the cards individually, whatever the hell you want to do. Maybe there's holos, you know, different rarities and stuff like that, kind of similar to, what do you call, Hero, except like maybe different cards have different rarities, right? Obviously, maybe just have like a common, rare, and like a secret rare, common, rare, ultra rare, whatever the hell they want to do with different cards, right? And you can kind of keep the pack sealed or whatever you want to do. So there's that. I do think that is the new vertical if I had to venture to guess, because there's a lot of card collectors out there, not only for sports, but like, in case you guys don't know that much about like Magic the Gathering, but like imagine if they re-released like the classic base set of like Magic the Gathering, and you actually had a chance again to go buy like a pack that could potentially have like the Black Lotus or all the crazy gems and jewels and stuff. I don't know that much about it. I've watched some YouTube videos about it, watched some like collector videos about Magic the Gathering, but like there's a pretty big community and there's a lot of money in Magic the Gathering, like those kind of cards. So yeah, I say it's I think it's some form of card collecting, I would say, or just like setting up the web app, or as well as like the Veve app in a way that we can now, instead of a blind box, you buy a pack, and then once you get that pack, you can choose to open it or not. You can either sell the pack as is, you can open it, sell the cards individually. Some of the cards might have holos, maybe like a first edition tag, like who knows? Not entirely sure, but I say pizza shop, LMAO, it's Domino's. Oh, okay. Austin, not sure who said they want to put in $100, but I would wait and see if they announce during a mystery. 83 Thor comic this week. I'm going for as many possible. If so, it'll be above. Yeah, they'll all be above retail. Like we just looked earlier. I mean, it's literally right here. I think I still have it up. Do I still have it up? Of course, I don't think so. I think if I go back enough here. Back. Is this it? Damn it. Nope. Is it Tales of Suspense? I don't think it's Tales of Suspense. No, it's not Tales of Suspense. Which one is it again? Journey into Mystery. Wait, this is one we looked up earlier, and in case you guys didn't know, I mean, this is like a legit $250,000 comic in real life. At least that's like a 9.2, I believe. The 9.2. So, yeah, 9.2 is $260,000, and this sale happened in I think 2019. Yeah, that's a big deal, and I think that would instantly put it in like the top 5 comics that we have on the app easily, and everything is going to go above retail. Like there's no reason for it not to. Everything is going to go above retail, so you might as well just buy as many as you can. I love TF2. Haven't played in a while, but my favorites were Scout, Spy, and Engineer. Yeah, mine were I would say some of the best players, because I think my brother played like semi-pro a bit, and he got me into trading. I played I mostly played like casual and stuff. But yeah, I traded a lot of unusual hats. I traded a lot of unusual items and hats and earbuds and keys and this and that, and did you know, RMT and all that stuff, and made a good amount of money doing it. Also, there were some sites with some gambling, so that definitely helped too. But at the same time, I would say some of the best classes, like if you're really good at Scout, Soldier, or Demoman, like those are like some of the most impactful classes like in the game. And of course, like, I mean, Medic is insanely impactful and stuff too, but like if you ever watch like professional TF2, like some of the best players, like if you have a really good Scout, Soldier, or like Demoman, like you can do some pretty crazy stuff with those classes. Those, like, Sniper is good too. Engineer, I like playing in casual as well. I always like playing Engineer. Spy was always a bit too hard for me. I like Spy. I would say I was like above average, but like some people were insane with like trick shots where you'd like have a guy chase you up some stairs and you would jump over the stairs over his head and do like a 180 and like stab him in the back and crazy stuff like that. So trick stabbing, I think that's what it's called. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I feel you so much. Hindsight is always 2020. Yes, sir. Killian Martin Navarro. All Batman season 2 black and white other than Grandpa are under retail, even though they look awesome. Is season 1 that important for non-collectors? What do you mean? No, like for non-collectors? I mean, season 1 is still just going to do the best. Like I've said this before, but like even golden moments, like they're just so iconic. But like if I had to double back and buy golden moments, like if I really wanted to like reinvest into like a lot into golden moments, I'm sticking to this, you know, not series 1, but that first set of golden moments. Like if I had to go back, like I'm looking at these ones: Homer and Skateboard, Mickey, Hat and Elsa, Pizza Planet Truck, Wall-E. I mean, I'm looking at the originals, let's say that. Not so keen on like the Skateboard or like the Avengers logo, but it's like, yeah, like Elsa, Pizza Planet Truck, Homer and Bart, Iron Man, R2D2, C3PO, obviously Walt. But I do think the best non-original like set golden moment is Donald and Daisy, followed by probably Winnie the Pooh. I mean, there's a reason why it's worth more than Chippendale. Like, even though it has literally half the mints, everyone was like, "Oh my god, like Chippendale, it's ultra rare." It's like, who cares? Like, not infinitely more people, I think, are recognizing Winnie the Pooh and stuff over Chippendale. It's not like I don't think Chippendale's trash or anything like that, but I put popularity of characters infinitely higher than like the rare, like the rarity, right? Common, uncommon, rare, secret rare. I mean, they could have made Chippendale secret rare and it'd still probably be, I mean, the what's it called? The listings would reflect that, right? It wouldn't have 6,300. It'd probably be like 4,000, whatever, if it was like a secret rare for whatever reason. But even then, I think it would still be maybe slightly above Winnie the Pooh right now, if that was the case. I put the popularity of the character way higher on the list. Some people value the rarity. Some people value number of mints above popularity, but I don't personally. You go confirmed on Vibe stream? Yes, sir. Go, Dark Magician! Dark Magic Attack. Celtic Guardian. Is it Soldier of Stone? Stone Soldier? Whatever. When he attacks the moon and shit. That show made legitimately no sense. Like, they broke so many rules in it. Flame Swordsman. Kunai with Chain. Great show. It's bringing back so many memories and nostalgia. I watched like the first couple seasons, but like everything, all the shows that didn't involve Yugi Moto like as the main character, I just didn't watch. I think it's just because A, I grew out of it, and B, like I didn't even know what the hell, where to even like watch the new show, so I just stopped. But I did watch Duelist Kingdom. I did watch what's it called? Duelist City, or like, and there was like another one after that I think I watched part of, but it's been a while. It's been a while. Dude, why is my screen like turn black occasionally? That's going to be my first good SR, calling it now. My one and only was the Miss Marvel, which is like 60 gems. Is that the one with the grandma? What's the SR with the grandma on it? And like a lot of people were like, why is the SR a grandma? Let me see if I can find it. I know which one you're talking about. It's not the Miss Marvel. Is it? No. The Miss Marvel? This one? Yeah. Yeah, it's like you said, it's like 60 gems. Oh, it's a bit higher. Maybe it's a different one. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. But what's the one that has like the grandma on it? And I remember people were like, why is this the secret rare cover? It's not there. I think it's one more page. So I remember it was somewhat recent, but not this one. New Mutants Annual 2. I don't know why. Oh, thank you so much, children. I'm on the secret rare cover. I don't know. What's your opinion on sell walls in the market where a user lists 10 plus listings at the same price, trying to force the price down? I think it's perfectly fine. I know some people have issues with like sell walls. I think it's perfectly fine. It's part of the open market. And guess what? When people see sell walls like that, I do this, and I know other people do this. If you are going to buy one off that sell wall, typically you look at what? You try to find like a 3-digit or a 4-digit, and then you work your way up to the 5 digits. I think it's fine. And if you want to put your thing below the price of the sell wall, I mean, that's on you. I mean, but typically what I found with sell walls is that even if it takes longer than 30 days, well, first off, that guy has to relist all of his stuff again, right? So they need to be on top of it if they want to keep up their sell wall. But even if they do, all of the NFTs on the back end of that, or I guess the top end, whatever the hell, of that sell wall, like once that sell wall breaks, typically the price starts like really running. So it's an advantage in one way and a disadvantage in another. I think they're perfectly fine, sell walls. If you want to put up 1,000 NFTs for all the same price, and you want to manually do that for each one, and like, go for it. I really don't care. If you think it's worth more than that, then buy up the sell wall. If you think it's worth less than that, then cool. He just gave you an easy way to buy it, right? Popularity over scarcity? Yeah, pretty much, Gio. Learned that the hard way when I bought Marceline and Lady Renicorn before R2-D2. Then he pumped almost 10K. I guess it worked out though. I got a mint number 900 for a steal last retrace. Hell yeah, dude. Killian says, will common comics keep going down to the point where some will sell for around 1 gem and they are meant to go up with MCP? I don't know. I mean, like I've said this before, a day will come where like common comics and shit, like a day will come where like rares will be consistently under mint price, under box price, right? Or like commons will go for literally a gem, maybe a gem and a half, because the comic is just not popular. Maybe the market has matured enough to the point where it's like everyone's already prioritized or consolidated all their gems into like more FAs or more comics that they really want. So Kryptonite, thank you so much for the $5, dude. I like the new portrait you got going on. Love your stream, brother. Gem. I appreciate it. What I said, sell for around 1 gem, or are they meant to go up with MCP and the 30-day delisting? There will be comics, and look at this now. It's literally already happening. Store. I think I showed this the other day, and you guys might not know this. I didn't even know this. The hell is it? Alpha Flight. You can literally still buy Alpha Flight on the market right now. See, it says sold out. Hello? Why no load? Marceline and Lady Rainicorn stayed the same basically the whole pump, and now they're down. Yeah, you could still buy Alpha Flight 106 on the market or on the store, and I think the commons are still hovering around like 2 gems or whatever, right? So it's like it's already happened. Like it's already gotten to the point where like some comics will just not sell out or not do well, or the commons are going to be like 1 gem and people just aren't going to buy it in the store. Like it's gonna happen, and it already is happening. But that is part of the reason why the delist feature exists. Same thing with MCP. And Rob Stupp brought it up. I like the way he positioned it, where it's like MCP in a way is just a way to motivate people to just buy the floors of shitty stuff. Like, to be quiet, not shitty, but it's just like obviously shitty / like unpopular stuff. Like, oh, I'm looking for more MCP points. What's the cheapest comics, or what's the best bang for my gem, bang for my buck comic I can get? Oh, Alpha Flight, because it's so inexpensive. It's like, all right, let me buy a few of these up just for points. Like, it's designed in a manner to have you just buy. There's a reason why it's the cheapest thing, right? Because no one wants it. So it's almost like a system that's just in place to have you just buy the cheapest thing possible. Now there's benefits with it, and I'm still waiting for MCP to come out to see how much each point is genuinely worth, because I'm a big min-maxer like that. So before I just willy-nilly throw, 200, 500, 1,000 gems at just random comics just to increase my MCP points, I'm like, all right, how far my MCP points are currently going before I invest more? Kryptonite says, Deadpool #1. Yes, I don't know what we're talking about. Sorry. Okay, Deadpool #1 has the old lady on it with the shades. Yeah. Okay. God, what the hell's her name? I forgot her name. Austin says, I think Stitch Secret Rare is pretty safe long term and it's at 100 gems right now. He's certainly more iconic than Lady and the Tramp and a few other less significant golden moments. Common only 14 gems. Yeah, I thought about doubling back and buying some of that stuff. I mean, there's a handful of actual like collectibles I'm considering doubling back and buying again. One of them was the, T-Rex. Because I think last I checked, I'm talking just like the common. Like, don't get me wrong, like the animated would be cool, but like this still looks cool enough in AR for me, personally. Like, I mostly want to get it for the AR, and I can like put it next to my friends, or like in the middle of a park, or all kinds of like crazy spots. And I think this is going for 10 gems, maybe 11. There was a point this was going for like 11. Okay, it's actually pumped quite a little bit. since I last checked. But even then, I do think when Amazing Fantasy 15 or just whatever the hell comics we get in San Diego Comic-Con, I do think we're going to see a bit of a gem squeeze on the market. So I do want to buy that. I was going to do that as well as the Raptor. I did want to buy this one. I hope it hasn't pumped. I feel like it's already pumped. This was going for like 40 gems at one point. Like, I know it's a battle statue and they're kind of memed on, but at the end of the day, it's still FA Flash, which is still a significant DC character. I did want to double back and buy this. I should have bought it when it was at like 40 or like 42 or some absurdly low price. Now it's like 50% more expensive. It's crazy to think that we got FA Thor, FA Flash, Collectibles, and then we got first appearance, Doctor Strange, and Star Wars all in the same month. And like, we still have tons of that stuff is still like well below box, including Superman versus Flash. So it's mostly just like, I just want to pick up some of the cheap stuff, like cheap FAs of Collectibles that I've been wanting for a while. Killian, some of us have stopped going for drops for comics with no physical value. Will it get to a point where most comics that drop won't sell out? Not necessarily sure. I do think some people will go for it. Of course, they'll always fish for the secret rare, ultra rare, whatever. There will be people out there that just want to literally have every single comic on the app, no matter what. There will be people out there that will be niche collectors, like maybe they only want to collect comics that are by Jack Kirby or have a certain kind of cover, or maybe they want to collect all the Tales of Suspense comics, regardless if it's like not a very popular one. But a day could come where a good portion of comics, unless it's a super significant one, just won't sell out. I mean, that could happen. You hear that dude disrespect Randy tonight on Spaces? Said Omi was a rug pull. I wasn't around. I've been streaming for, I mean, 3.5 hours at this point. 3 hours and 15 minutes, roughly. So if it happened any time in the last, like, let's say 4 hours, I didn't hear it. Well, that sucks. I mean that's part of being on Spaces, right? It's like people can just jump on there and just say random shit, at least if they get invited up. Let's check the markets. So if I click this, does that actually refresh anything? No. Let's click on Collectibles. Sometimes I actually do. I used to do this quite a bit on the app. So I click Collectibles and like click, the newest thing, just in case someone like floors something or has like really undercutted the I'm gonna show you guys something kind of funny. Would be kind of hard to see, but oof, it's gonna be hard to see. Ooh. It's my roommate's dog. I know it's hard to see, but good God. That's good enough. Killian, dude, thank you so much for the $3. It's awesome. Oh God, my Collectibles is here. No, I gotta stay up for another 30 minutes. Oh. Yeah, I was just showing off the Doge. It's my roommate's dog. Her name is Biscuit. It's a pug. And that's kind of hard to see, but McQueen under retail is crazy. Yeah, I mean it's getting to the point now. Right now, I think it's just showing right now that there's so many good IPs and so many good characters in the app. People are just prioritizing other things, right? People are like, how could this be so low under retail? It's like, yeah, but there's just better things on the market right now. If it was that good, it would be higher in price. It's that simple. If Lightning McQueen was maybe more popular, or maybe if there's just not enough people on the app, you know, or maybe there's just not enough people on the app that understand or appreciate what's it called, Lightning McQueen more, like, you know, whatever the reasoning is, but because there's simply either better IPs, better drops, people become more comic collectors versus collectibles. Who knows? But Kryptony, Randy offered him a bet, and he said no. He's too rich. Okay. Aaron heard it. All right. NFT, trying my NFT tracker for the first time. I like how you can add your portfolio and add your purchase price. It's awesome. I really like my NFT tracker. It's, as much as I would love to just go to one site for everything. Unfortunately, like if I wanted to browse all the comics or just specific rarities, my NFT tracker is the best for that. If you want to look for all ultra rare comics that are at least 50 but not over 100, because you're trying to, you know, buy some ultra rare comics, you could just do that in here. You know, you get all the offers here. You can organize it by release date, you can organize it by floor price, 24-hour trend time, all-time high, all-time low. You can organize it by just a ton of different things. So yep. So it's cool. Like, these are all ultra rares. These are in order from highest to lowest price by floor price. And yeah, you can just, like, it's so awesome to just have all this stuff set up as is. Hey, bro. That dude was super disrespectful. Yeah, I can only imagine. All night stream. Utility for some of the characters would be fast passes for Disney park characters. It saves a ton of time on busy days. Disney lines can be hours long. I've been there so many times. Would be useful. Yep. Almost like renting, right? Being able to rent it. What are you doing for 4th of July? I think my roommate's gonna come back 4th of July. Don't really have plans, to be honest. Because in case you guys didn't know, my birthday is on the 5th. And I have a lot of friends that are going to be out of town for the 4th and stuff, or like already out of town, but they're going to be gone for most of the week. So I've already been so used to like not doing anything the weekend of my birthday that I usually just do it at some point in July to celebrate, just because people are usually gone for 4th of July weekend anyway, and most people are out of town. But I'm kind of old enough to the age where it's like, I don't really care. I don't need to do something on my birthday, or like even 4th of July. You know, I don't live next to family or anything like that, so I'm perfectly okay with just chilling out for 4th of July, you know, other than the crazy ass fireworks and stuff. But might make a biscuit go crazy, but other than that, Cars Disney Plus show coming out this year, I believe. Cool. We need a Captain America 4th of July drop. Yeah, we should have, but we didn't. If OMI is rug pull, isn't Veve? Probably. Soldier Boy drop? Yeah. There were some scenes, or there were some lines that Soldier Boy had that was, you know, kind of funny in the show. SR Thor, I think he's... Birthday live stream. What I should have done, my collectibles, is just wait for, you know, transfers to come back, and then all of a sudden, you know, what do you know? All these collectibles just start appearing in my vault on my birthday. Isn't that great? No, I'm just happy to hang out with you guys. So if there's one thing that I've learned, and I'm sure my collectibles knows too, is that the viewers never stop. You guys never stop viewing, which is awesome, but also can be a wee bit stressful. SR Thor, I still think he's worth buying as many as you can. I stacked at 330 to 430. You're talking about the you're talking about the secret rare, I assume, for those price points. I love how I type in Thor and it's like not. There it is. Secret Rare animated. It's at 514 right now. Whew. Don't even need to look at the last 6 months, but yeah, this thing ran up all the way up to 700. What was this low? 450. I assume you mean that, or yeah, you said it literally right there. Duh. SR Thor. Are low mints more valuable in comics than collectibles? It's hard to tell. And also, is the screen going black and white for you guys, or is it just me? I apologize if the screen keeps like flashing black. If it is, let me know. If not, then just say it's not happening. I don't know what to say. I don't know why it's doing that. I might have to change something in my settings. But the question is, are low mints more valuable in comics than collectibles? It depends. And that's the other thing too. It's like, what does low mints mean? Are we talking 2 digits, 3 digits? I mean, arguably more recently, it sounds like there's been maybe more comics than collectibles. So it's like when collectibles come out, sometimes there's like 25,000 editions versus the 30,000 of the comics, right? That's tough. It also depends on the collectible versus the comic. I'd probably say about the same. It's important for both. If I had to give a slight edge to one or the other, I would probably say comics, like a slight edge, but it's too hard to tell. Veve needs that Beach Boys drop. All right. 4th of July hot dogs and hamburger NFTs. Let's go, dude. Let's go. With the special sauce, which is just nothing more than all the condiments put together. I remember learning about that like 10 years ago. For the first time, I'm like, oh, this special sauce. They're like, you know, it's just like ketchup, mayo, and you know, whatever, just in relish, like thrown together, right? That's literally all it is. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's all it is. Just a bunch of condiments just slapped together. That's the secret sauce. Wow, you're up super late. Yeah, it's midnight. Roman candle NFT drop. Let's go. You guys are able to use yeah, and when I used to live in California, we couldn't do any airborne fireworks, but luckily I had an uncle that would visit from like Montana, and so yeah, we would have like Roman candles or mortars and stuff that would shoot in the air and just do these huge explosions. One year, oh my god, one of my older brothers wants to light one of these mortars. You know, you need to put them down, you make sure it's facing up, and it shoots up, and it makes it, you know, the same fireworks you see that go off at like ballparks or events or whatever, and those huge fireworks that explode and they make the big sparks or whatever. He brought a few of those, so we're lighting it up in my grandma's driveway, or like out in the street, I should say. And first few go off fine, and so my brother goes out there. He's like, oh, I want to light one. He's like, all right, like here, grab one, go ahead and go out there and light it. And goes out there, sets it down, gets the lighter, lights it, and they're like, get away. He's like, all right, and starts running away. Then we hear thoops. And we're like, what's going on? What's happening? Boom! It just blows up right in front of us. And so like we're sitting 10 feet away from this thing. Most of us are. We're on the chairs. We'll have, you know, all the moms and their kids and dogs and stuff. This thing just blows up right in front of us. Sparks and everything fly by us. And actually one of the trees next to us actually starts catching fire. And like, you know, my dad and his brothers, you know, my uncles and stuff, get a hose and start trying to put out the fire. And then of course one of the moms freak out inside of the house and like calls the fire department and stuff. And you know, we're not supposed to have them. It's illegal to have those fireworks. So eventually we had the fire department show up. I'm like, is everything okay? It's like, yeah, we just lit one of the fountain fireworks too close to the tree. We're not going to do it again. It's my apologies. And so they left, but we had it all under control. But that thing just exploded right in front of us. And like those things, you know, they blow up in probably, I don't know, probably 30-40 foot diameter. And this was right in front of us, like 10 feet in front of us, and just blew up right past us. So joys of 4th of July. Most slept on collectibles on Veve? Question mark. That's a tough question. There's quite a few good deals, but it's all, honestly, it's pretty subjective. You're saying collectibles, huh? Well, it depends on what you think slept on is, right? I mean, you look at FA Thor, it's like, well, FA Thor, this should be a, 1,500 gem collectible on it, but it's only sitting at 500. Like, it's totally being slept on. Or you could look at Jurassic Park or some of the season 1 stuff and be like, oh, those are getting slept on in season 1. Why aren't you buying it? So, I don't know. For some reason, I used to think of questions like that all the time. When I first got on Veve or started making content, I used to think like, oh, what's the most slept on? I think it was a bit more obvious back then because like there was actually some fluctuation in the market. There was a lot of collectibles that people just didn't know about, or people are just users in general, I think, were just less informed. But now, like, there's a lot of content creators, there's a lot of comic gurus, a lot of people just kind of put their information out there, and it's kind of easy to find out like it's pretty easy to find out pretty quickly like which drops are worth going for or worth like really going all out and spending a ton of gems on, or even like liquidating a good portion of your vault to like go after a certain drop. It was less so that back in the day. Like even when I started, like people, there were so many new people, like people were still like flooring stuff, like low mint stuff or like floor price, right? So yeah, like I don't really have a solid answer for you. And honestly, I haven't been paying attention to collectibles nearly as much as I used to as well, Booth. And that's the other thing too. It's everyone's definition of getting slept on or low mint or rare it means different to different people. It's 3 a.m. my Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, dude. Why are you awake? You're like, oh, why are you up so late? You're up late or early, technically. Vibe's doing a 24-hour marathon stream. Let's go. Gosh. I thought about it one day. Maybe not 24 hours. Maybe I was thought about doing like a 12-hour stream one day. I think that'd be kind of fun. And also, I would need a lot of energy drinks, a few breaks. I would have to also do some other stuff on the side or like during the stream to like keep myself entertained. Do you think FA Thor comic will drop this week? It Blast Light. Collectible drops. Would that pump Woody? Maybe. I think people might want to like buy it and pair it up, but it's not enough to just make Woody go up 50%. I just don't see it. Like, what's Woody at now? Ooh. 87 right now? What's he been doing? Or where do you used to be? I'm trying to remember. I don't know why I'm doing that. Sleeping Comics knows. Sleeping Comics, sorry. My Collectibles knows. Dude, streaming it can be quite exhausting. It's not. I used to do streaming for video games and stuff like that. I used to stream video games, and it's so much different just playing by yourself versus like streaming it, or even just like if you are looking on the market to snipe stuff. That is infinitely different than like having viewers and, you know, talking and giving input and advice and trying to be not necessarily entertaining, but yeah, that too. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes this graph, dude, it just gives me appendicitis. There it goes. Holy hell. So yeah, this went up to all the way 350 gems at one point. Holy hell. Yeah, it's like if Buzz Lightyear came up, like I could see Woody like maybe hitting 100 again, maybe like 110, but it's not like, oh my god, Buzz Lightyear is here, which a lot of people already knew. It's gonna go up to 300, like not. I don't see it happening. Electra JK slept on collectible, the DeLorean. Possibly. I do think like a day will come where like a lot of the vehicles will do well, but like their catalyst is so far off, like the Viviverse and driving around in VR and this and that. Like it just a lot of those type of entities just really hinge on that kind of utility, and outside of that, there's just honestly just better things to buy for the same price. Electra is $7 for the comment. Do we really think she will stay that far below retail? At some point, you will be in the profit if you stack her. Yeah, at some point, but then you also have to ask, is there something else that's better to stack, like common comics or a different collectible? Like, I mean, we can even do this now, right? Hold on. Let's just do all. So what are some things that are better to stack than Lenectra? Let's go 8 and do this. I think maybe we'll just stick with collectibles, because if we don't, we're gonna get a shit ton of comics. We might do comics as its own thing. Maybe like 10. We'll go up to 10. Sorry, I'm yawning. Me personally, like, I'm trying to also remember like how many mints there are. God, like the rare is 10. I would almost rather stack Ursula's or Roots or... I mean, you can't even stack the, because once you buy this, it goes above 10 pretty quickly, I think. Maybe Mr. Knights? Like, I'd rather stack Ursula's or Groot's, to be quite honest, rather than like Lenectra's. Like, Ursula is at least a first appearance. It's one of like easily the most popular, one of the most popular villains in all of Disney. Like, it is one of the, I remember Rob Stuff said this, and I remember seeing on quite a few like articles on Disney as well as like YouTube videos and stuff, but like Ursula's like probably like top 3 most popular villains in all of Disney. Mr. Knight looks okay. If it was the original Moon Knight, I think it would do much better, but yeah. And Groot for like 8.5. It's still FA Groot, FA Guardians of the Galaxy, like all that stuff that goes along with it. It'd be cool to get a couple Apex Predators like T-Rex. I'm just kind of just talking out loud of like things personally I would rather stack than like Lenectra. And then for comics, I mean, there's a whole lot. I mean, there's honestly too many options to even go over. So, I hope they release Edge of Spider-Verse issue 2 when the new movie releases next year. I have the comic and would love an NFT version to match. Cool. Who is blowing up someone's mailbox tomorrow? What? Tomorrow night? Yeah. Zombie Attack News. What's up, dude? Yo, no fireworks here. Not allowed, but if caught, $500 fine, then $1,000 if caught again by police. Holy moly. Which state is that? I know there's fines in California, and there's probably here too, but I remember my apartment complex already sent out multiple emails like, do not light fireworks here. Like, all right. Will the price of the grails keep growing further away from the rest of the collectibles? Yes, I do genuinely believe that. I do think those will exponentially increase in price, or like just further and further distance themselves away from all the other ones. I think the same thing's gonna happen with comics. Like secret rares are just gonna keep pulling away, while, you know, ultra rares followed by rares, and then like it's just gonna like an accordion effect. Now that's party. Kryptony says you can buy a 100 Electra for $700. If she 10x, which is not possible, you will have $7,000. Yeah, yeah. You also have to think too, like which collectibles can like actually 10x from where they are. Like I genuinely believe like something like maybe not a 10x, but like Ursula, yeah, could maybe hit, you know, like 50 gems or something like that. So that's a nice like 5x, something like that. Like that's eventually. Forgot how many mints there are of her. I'll try and compare to Lenectra. So 14,000. How many Lenectra commons are there? Like how the common and uncommon are literally an identical price. It's like the same bit number. There's 1,000 more Ursulas, but Ursula's infinitely more popular than Lenectra. Like if we, I don't know, I'm just gonna do this. It's popular Disney villains. Let's do this. See, I've already done the search. Top 20 Disney villains of all time. Ursula, number 2. Already on the picture. Scar, apparently number 1. And these are all AMC theaters. These are all different articles, so it's like these are all pretty subjective on what they think is the top 1. But if you're consistently seeing Ursula being top 3 a lot, I think there is something to that. And on top of that, I do think I watched quite a few videos of people that go out and go out to like what do you call it? Like yard sales, or they go to flea markets and all that kind of stuff. And they buy, you know, they flip stuff. You know, they buy something for cheap and they sell it for higher. They do it on their eBay store or whatever. And a lot of the time, I remember one guy, he saw like a Disney castle with like Ursula on it or something like that. It was a Little Mermaid, I think, themed like Disney castle. And he's like, dude, he's like, anything with Ursula sells really well. He's like, I don't know why. He's like, it just sells really well. So there's Ursula number 3. Screen Rant. So like you have like Toy NK, and then you have AMC Theaters, and then you also have like Screen Rant and all that stuff. So Zombie Attack News, thank you so much for the $2, dude. Really appreciate it. I like the vibes sticker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 25 best Disney villains of all time. Let's see what the hell Screen Rant says. I'm not gonna look through all these. Where the hell's Ursula? Ursula's number 4. Claude Frollo, really? Maleficent and then Scar. Yeah. I do think Scar, Simba, like those ones are going to do really well on VV as well. Most slept on, to be honest, in my opinion, is Deadpool Series 1, Groot FA, Storm X-Men. I think so too. Actually, that's a good call. I do think Deadpool, especially, is probably getting slept on. I think it's what really put people off is all the goofy ass holiday outfits and stuff. I think that really just like threw people off and they didn't like it. Initially, I don't think people cared too much, but like after Christmas, people were like, wait, I don't want this. Like, I don't know. Even initially when it was announced, there were some people griping about it. Austin, I wonder if someday they'll have a VV NFT code in certain physical comics. Marvel recently put codes in first editions of Marvel Fortnite collab comics for redeemable in-game items. That's kind of cool. That'd be sick. We get 15 MCP points for every collectible market purchase. Stacking low-level stuff may be lucrative for MCP too. Yeah. I'm not going that all in MCP. I'm just kind of just buying what I think is going to just perform well, whether it's in the short term or long term hodl. And just like, hey, if I get extra MCP points for it, or MCP, Master Collector Program, yeah, points for it, then cool. Until I can, again, you know, micromanage or min-max the amount of points, I might come to a consensus where it's like, look, it's just the way the points pay out, it's just like, me personally, it's not worth it for me to like spend a bunch of money just to get points, you know. Or if it is, I'll be like, okay, like if I just get, you know, 10 more rare comics, or maybe less than that, you know, 5 more rare comics or 10 more rare comics, I can get enough Master Collector points to get like, you know, 50 to 20 extra raffle tickets a month, which might be worth it, you know, who knows. CA Santa Clarita by Magic Mountain. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Why you would get heavily fined like that for lighting fireworks. I do know some towns, especially, you know, gated communities and all that stuff, like, do not like you lighting fireworks. I live in the Midwest. It's a war zone out here. Yeah, dude, it probably sounds like World War III going off. Probably think we're starting a war with Canada with fireworks. Kryptonite, I think Green Goblin and the Thing are also stackable. Green Goblin for sure. I don't know about the let's see, let's check out. Let's look at the collectibles. Damn. I was kind of hoping it would show why when I type in might it shows this? The hell is going on? Oh, it's because I put 10, that's why. Wait, what? Show up now if I put Fantastic Four? Let's go. It shows all of them. Okay. Yeah, I think could be stackable. He's a common. I mean, isn't there a shit ton of editions of this though? Yeah. 30,000 of these, 29,000. That's a bit much for a stack, to be quite honest. At least for me. Like, if I was gonna... I still think Human Torch is awesome. But it's not like a stack. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's a lot of additions to stack, quite honestly. If you're... How many Invisible Women are there? 20k? Yeah, it's still pretty high. Especially for a collectible, right? Like, I would say, like, comics is kind of an exception. I don't know why, but like comics just seem like just a better entry point, or like buried. And so are Marvel Mighties. I take that back. Marvel Mighties are probably some of the easiest collectibles to get into, just price wise. I mean, most of the cheapest ones, like literally, of all the NFTs, or I should probably put the collectibles. Let's flip this so we have the cheapest ones at the top. Like most are Marvel Mighties. Like Marvel Mighty, Marvel Mighty, Marvel Mighty, Marvel Mighty. There's quite a few. Great point, Aaron. What do you say? We get 15 MCP points for every collectible market purchase. Collectible market purchase. Is there a max on that? Can you just buy all kinds of stuff? Stacking load? If that's infinite, there's definitely going to be some sort of and I guess you're eating a fee every time. I'm like, I could definitely see someone like manipulating the market on that, but or like finding a way to just like keep relisting stuff for like cheap, or I don't know, or like having two accounts just keep buying from each other. But again, you're just eating a fee. Is it illegal to shoot fireworks across the border? I'm sure. I would imagine so. Is it illegal to shoot a flare? It's kind of... It's a nerfed version, obviously, of a firework, but... Still live. Sheesh! Some fireworks. I'm watching Iron Man. Let's go. Yeah, probably end this pretty soon. 5 limit on separate collectibles. Okay, that's what I figured. A day. Also, you get all the, you know, being active on the app, which I don't think is actually going to come into effect. Because as far as I know, the only MCP points that are retroactive are collectible and comics, you know, including the sets and all that stuff. So everything that is involved with collectibles and comics, everything that's involved with owning them, you get MCP points for, and you should get those retroactively. All the like being active on the market, or like liking and posting stuff on the feed, like all the little points that you get for that, I don't think that's retroactive as far as I know. That probably won't happen until like the MCP actually like kicks off on the app. As far as I know, the 25 points for store purchases is unlimited. So when you mint 5 comics, you get 25 points. Oh, that's 125 points. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you can get that many points in a day, it doesn't feel that special when you like buy a rare comic for 10 gems and it's giving you what, 2 points a day. Like, that's the min max in me, right? Where it's like, I know like 1 is like for the life of the account, but at the same time, I don't know. Yes, many right now for points. Yeah, if that's the case, like if you actually get 25 points for store purchases, it's almost better to do what? Just play drops? Because you play a drop and then you get what? 25 points, which is the equivalent of owning a rare comic for 12.5 days. You know, let's say you bought a comic for 10 gems. There's tons of there's tons of rares right now that are going for like 10 gems. I mean, it's almost like we can look on here. rare comics. See if there's any like below 12. I think there's actually quite a few below 12. Yeah, there's 2 pages below 12. Let's go to 10. Yeah, so all these comics on this page are below 10 right now. And there's a certain point where it's like, at least if let's say I go for a drop comic. If I get a common or uncommon, you could sell it back. You know, you lose a bit of money, but at least you get 25 points. And you can get that money back. If you get lucky, you can get a rare, ultra rare, you know, secret rare. I don't know. This is why, like, this is just what's going through my head when it comes to like crunching numbers, where it's like, all right, I could spend, you know, let's say 50 gems buying 5 of these rares, and they're in my collection. I'm getting, you know, master collector points, I think, for the initial purchase in the secondary market, plus the 2 a day for the master collector program. It's like, or I could just spend those 50 gems. This is, if I got 5, that'd be 10. It's like 3 days. Yeah, I think you guys kind of understand where I'm kind of going with this. I left for 5 minutes and I get back to shooting. Fireworks across the border. Yeah, dude, it happens. Hi, Tony. How many are we going on the Thor comic drop, MC? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I know my collectibles, you mentioned earlier that you would be way more interested if it was the number 2 edition, not the number 1, right? Pretty sure the 25 points is for collectible store purchases. Oh, collectible, not comics. Okay, that makes sense. Well, in that case, yeah, that makes way more sense. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, it makes sense. I'll have to crunch the numbers like when they come out with the finalized master collector thing. I don't think we'll be getting 5 on drop soon, especially when you can't preload and have to purchase gems only when minting. That'll slow people down. I think so as well. Or again, people are just going to liquidate a lot of stuff so they could just play all the drops freely. They can quick gate if they need to. I definitely see that happening. Is it MC? Then what are the points for comics in store? I think it's maybe like a one-time purchase in the store, and then whatever the points per day are in the master collector program. So, all right, guys, I think I'm gonna call it. Getting pretty tired. You guys can probably see it in my face. I'm over it, and plus my roommate's dog is passed out on my bed. So she's ready to go to bed too as well. So thanks for stopping by. Good luck on, I guess, the drop from 2 days from now. Happy 4th of July.